Well, hello, everybody. Well, greetings, ladies, days, gims, and gentlemen, and all those in between. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, the most opinionated and unapologetic talk show currently on the internet. Now, for those of you who are tuning in, Chris Avalon Unfiltered is basically a show where we get down and deep into the dirt of all the juiciest headlines and entertainment. We talk a little, politics every now and again, and we also, we cover all the spectrums of pop culture, all the, the top headlines and stuff that's been going on throughout the week. So, while you sit here and watch this long-winded show, because we usually end up doing 3 hours, it's never my intent, but bitch, that's how it usually turns out. But anyway, so in between, grab yourselves a drink, a snack, or whatever gets you guys going, and let's get into this big old gig that we got going here. I done messed up my whole damn thing, but whatever, we're gonna just go. So anyway, but now before we get into the trending hot topics, don't forget to click down below on, the like and the subscribe and all that stuff, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but I tend to cuss a lot on this show. So if y'all don't click like and all that other stuff, the like button and all these things, what ends up happening is that they push the show all the way down into the jungle deep, and then it's hard for people to find the show and stuff. So please, 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 please like and subscribe. If you're new, definitely subscribe to the show. It definitely helps. If you come around every week, basically, and those of you who watch, because I see the numbers, and a lot of y'all do be watching, hit that like button so that way we can get pushed out there with the algorithm and all other good stuff. And yes, be sure to follow all my social media platforms, which you can also see down below is _. I no longer have the Chris Avalon because apparently they done fucked up the thing over there with Instagram. They done chopped my damn thing, and I had to come up with a new one. So yeah. So how's everybody doing? Great week, great week. Are we still basking in the afterglow of the Alabama brawl? The Riverboat brawl that went down this week? Yeah, that can be my entire life. And that is one of the topics we're going to be talking about in today's show. Along with, we're going to be talking, I got an update on the O'Shea Sibley. Why did I say OJ, child? But we got an update on the O'Shea Sibley case. We're going to talk about T.S. Madison appearance on Jason Lee's show. We're going to talk Tory Lanez. We got T on. Well, yeah, we got that big case. It was about the Alabama Riverboat brawl. There were some arrests that were made. I'm gonna give my whole reports on that. We're gonna talk about Big Brother. They already kicked somebody out of the house for being a damn racist, allegedly. We're gonna talk Neo, that queen. And as you can see in the picture, we got Candy. I got a gripe to pick with her ass. She might send me a letter like she sent anybody damn else. And if you don't speak positive of her, then don't talk about it. Well, bitch, we're going to talk about you today because I don't like where you going with what you doing. But whatever. We're going to talk about her. And apparently she is not behind the whole situation with what Bethany is trying to do, moving, getting everybody unionized and this, that, and the other. So I'm going to give my opinions on that. We're also going to talk about Adam Lambert. Apparently people had stuff to say about his boyfriend that he's been with for the past, I believe, 2 years or 3 years. I don't know, but the math will be mathed when we do the show. We're going to also talk about Wayne Brady, will.i.am, Don Lemon. Is he trying to join The View? Those are the rumors that's floating around, and a whole lot more. But before we get into that, let's talk about this situation. Okay, so this morning, I came across a little something. And what it was that Robert had sent, Robert Price, who usually comes in and watches the show with us, and he's always sending me some things. He sent me something this week that I had saw something about it earlier, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it because I had heard that, okay, so Taylor Swift, she's on her Eras tour. Her and Beyonce definitely tearing it up in regards of they're like the two top tours that's happening right now in music. Because quiet as it's kept, music is a little dry. So, but they're like the two top tours that's going on. Ooh, say that 10 times. They got two top tours. They're the top two tours, in my opinion, that's going on right now. Like their tours on the tip of everybody's tongue. Everybody's been talking about it. There's been a lot of great things. All the mayonnaise Americans have been going to the, the Taylor Swift Eras tour. kudos to y'all. I'm waiting for my girl Madonna. And the gays, of the chocolate hue are all currently residing with Miss Beyonce, who is currently in Atlanta right now, doing 3 nights there. And I know T.S. Madison, who we're gonna be talking about later on in the show, was invited to, through VIP and everything, to be at, the Renaissance. And I saw she was there, Chi-Chi's there, Miss Mary's there, like she brought everybody. And then I saw she was in one of those little carts that they ride you around. But yeah, so apparently these are the 2 top tours, but they're also getting ridiculed for giving bonuses or doing things for their fans. And to me, I'm like, are y'all dumb? Like, I just don't understand, like, the issue that we have that right now, that people just get so wrapped up in just bitching for the sake of bitching, and I just don't get it. So, and it came out, I believe, earlier in the week, or was it last week? I don't remember. But apparently they said that Taylor Swift's Eras Tour has generated so much money that even the feds have noticed. By the time the tour concludes, it's estimated that Swift will have added $5 billion to the economy. She ain't the only one, because Beyonce is definitely adding to the economy as well, which is unfortunate. Why is it that people have to go on tour to add to your economy when, I don't want to get political with the government and how the inflation or other stuff is out of damn control, but artists should not be the ones that's pumping money into your goddamn economy. That's ridiculous. But I'm glad that people love who they love and stuff. I'm not getting on the artists for that. I'm mad at the politicians, but that's a whole nother conversation. But they said, but so much of the profit these days, these awards have only gone to the top. In addition to making revenue for a host of small businesses and cities, her tour has blown through. The superstar has issued massive bonuses to the crew of her tour, including bonuses issued to the drivers hauling it all over North America. Swift gave the truckers a bonus of $100,000 each. Some people trying to be like, oh, well, they are getting $100,000 and split it. No, they're each getting $100,000 goddamn dollars in a bonus. Normally, I've heard that there are some people that give their the people, they'll get like maybe $1,000 or $5,000 or something or another, but they never go higher than that. But I applaud that Taylor's like, you know what? Yeah. And then I'm giving money, but I'm being charitable. I'm gonna give bonuses to my, to the people that have been with me for the past 5 months that I've been all on the road performing. And that's quite a bonus for a leg of a tour, which started in March and is scheduled to end this month in LA. The bonus works out to $20,000 a month or $5,000 a week for the duration of the tour, at least double what the driver's salaries were to begin with. If they're getting paid anything like the average trucker, the average wage of a long-haul trucker in the United States in 2021 was roughly $48,000 a year per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So here's the thing. People were mad about that. They were like, only $100,000? She could have gave more. So first of all, how dare you count her money, number one? Like, it's not your place to tell someone how to be generous. Because quiet as it's kept, Taylor didn't have to give them $100,000. And it wasn't just them that she gave money to. Because according to People magazine, they said that, she's set to play 6 sold-out shows at Inglewood SoFi Stadium. She gave bonuses totaling over $55 billion to everyone from her dancers to riggers, sound technicians, and catering, among others, working on her massive show. So she's performing for 3 hours and she's singing 44 damn songs. The stage is massive, same as Beyonce. And the reason why I brought Beyonce in, because people was bitching at her, because it was like, she spent $100,000, I believe, to oh hey Victor, how you doing? She spent $100,000 to I think her show had started late because of the rain, and her show was outside. So waiting for the rain to stop and then clear up and everything, because you don't want, when you're dealing with a lot of equipment and electric light and lights and all other stuff, and there's one part where Beyonce is flying over the damn, stadium, the arena, whatever the fuck. Look, there be times I've said this before, I can't tell the difference between a goddamn arena and a stadium. But I just say it's a massive place with a lot of fucking people get to be in there and they get to see some shit. So And I don't know the damn difference. All I know is her shit is outside. And the fact of the matter is that Beyonce was generous enough because she had, the rain and everything delayed the start of the show. She paid money to keep the metros open. People was mad about that. Like, well, goddamn, y'all just out here just hating on people for the sake of hating. And to me, it's like Beyonce didn't have to do it. She could have just been like, you know what? I don't give a fuck how y'all figure out how you get into my show and how you get home. Y'all can all take Ubers, and we know Uber ain't cheap these days because ever since the pandemic, the prices of Ubers have skyrocketed. Like I remember one time I was going from living in Harlem, I would travel to my parents' house because I wasn't get on no damn train. Because first of all, that trip just to Queens is a lot, damn near $100. So people say I'd be happy if Beyonce gave me $50. Okay, so so she was nice enough to spend money to keep the metros open, but people was bitching about that. She could have just been like, you know what? Well, fuck y'all. Y'all can figure out how y'all getting home to and from the show. As long as y'all get here and I get your money, that's all I care about. Y'all, I feel like your energy is being placed in the wrong places. What you need to be doing is being pissed at the Bob Igers and the David Zaslabs and all these other execs that are making $35,000 a day, but screwing over their artists and us as consumers, where we're having to spend so much goddamn money going to the damn movies these days, and this, that, and the third. These are who we should be mad. We should be mad at the corporate cannibals and not the artists. But I guess because you see the artists, it's easy to be mad at them. But I applaud, I'm out and I'm gonna go on the record. I'm not necessarily a big Taylor Swift fan. Now, there are some songs that she has released. I'm like, okay, that's a cute little song. I like that, Bob. And I did like 1989. I did like that record. And I did hear she is re-releasing it with some new songs. So I may listen to it because that is my favorite Taylor Swift album. Although I am not a Taylor Swift fan. But if you put out a record full of Bobs, I will support it and I will like it. See, what people don't understand about me is like I cannot like somebody or be a fan of theirs, but if they put out a good record, I'm like, that was a really good record. That was like I listen to everything. So if I give credit where it's due, I'm not just gonna be a hater for the sake of being a hater. Oh, I hate using the word hater because I feel like people use that shit too loosely. But nevertheless, I don't see what Taylor Swift did was wrong. And yeah, her net worth is way more than what she was giving the crew and this, that, and other. Do you want her to give them her entire fucking bank account and then she'd be broke? Like, would that make y'all feel more satisfied? First of all, if somebody's giving me $100,000 bonus, that's more money than I'll probably ever see in my lifetime if I was in those people's situation. And that puts them in a place where they can put down payment on a house or put roots somewhere, because a lot of these people, they live on the road and a lot of times they're living paycheck to paycheck. So if somebody gave me $100,000 on a damn bonus plus what I'm making on top of that, me traveling with her, so that's a bonus. It's not the full check. It's a bonus. That's an additional addition on what you already make. So it's like people don't pay attention or understand. Or maybe what it is the fact that a lot of y'all have never been part of a traveling crew. So you don't understand how the service industry and all this stuff works. I have traveled with, on the road with performers and this, that, and the third. So I understand how that world is. Robert says, don't forget local crews. Oh, yeah. So there were people who actually were the local crew members that were, I guess, under IATSE, which is the union for, live, people that work in the live music industry. What people were irritated about was the fact that, well, they didn't get a cut of those bonuses. And I'm like, but wait a minute, if you only work for me for maybe a day or two, you're not getting a fucking bonus. Are you out of your mind? First of all, you're going to get paid your money through your union. But the people that are actually with me on this trip from March, I'm reading something production just wrote. But if I'm on the road with you from March to, what are we in, August? That's literally 5 months. If I'm on the road with somebody for 5 months, away from my family, I'm traveling, I'm moving things around, like I've got all your prized possessions, this, that, and the third. Like, Yeah, she understands that she's away from her cats. She gives and the one thing I do like that production did say, and don't forget the milk and cookies she gives her Yes, she has become, and I think that's why people like Taylor, that she's very personable with her fans, her crew. I did hear in the Reputation documentary that how personable she is, and very much she creates this environment where it's more like a family. And quite frankly, that's what you have to do. Because I remember when I traveled with the circus, they created this family environment. They created this family environment, and sometimes you have to do that because you get homesick, and then you feel like after a week, oh my god, what am I doing, why am I, because it's not something you're used to, so you want to be a part of a camaraderie where it feels more family oriented and this, that, and the third. So I feel that it always starts at the top, and the fact that she is that girl that's going to be in there and rally everybody together and make people feel like they're part of a family and this and the third. I applaud her for that. So I don't understand why people are making a big deal out of that. Oh, if you get this amount, it's not enough, or if you do this, you should have did this. And it's like, well, when you get to the status of a Beyonce and a Taylor Swift and you have their coin, then you can do what you want to do with your money, but don't tell other people what they should do and how they should do with their money. It's the thought that counts, and the fact of the matter is she did what needed to be done for her crew. She didn't have to give them $55 billion worth of whatever, even though her tour is going to gross more than that. And yeah, she'll make more money than that. But at least the people that travel with her on this tour can leave the tour with fond memories and a fatter wallet or bank account, because who walks around with wallets? I mean, I do walk around with a wallet with my cards and all that stuff in it, but I'm talking about like a wad of cash. It go in the bank. Robert says we also live in a different culture. One scandal can destroy you and your career. Oh, we're not even gonna talk about Lizzo, child, because Lizzo looked like her career just been erased. Like I heard, allegedly the boyfriend Mike with a Y dumped her, but they were off and on for years because she alluded to that in the documentary on HBO. And then the ex-girlfriend of Mike with a Y, came out and about how he left her for Taylor Swift. I mean, Taylor Swift. He left her for Lizzo. And then Lizzo allegedly was in the zeitgeist of being courted to be a Super Bowl halftime performer. But now, because of this scandal, that's not happening. Then there was she was supposed to headline the thing that Jay-Z does in Philly. That whole thing was canceled. So it's a whole like domino effect of cancellations of Lizzo. So I hope she saved her coin, child, because it's about to get ugly for her. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I was just like, you know what, this is ridiculous. Like, to me, Taylor Swift's tour is grossed over $5 billion. Beyonce's tour has joined the $1 billion club. And now we got people out here just low-key hating on their situation. And look, what this shows is that these other artists that y'all so-called love need to step their pussy up when it comes to going on tours. So Madonna, I know your rehearsals allegedly supposed to start back up again tomorrow in at the Nassau Coliseum. So I suggest this. You better come up with something on what you gonna do with your people, because they've been waiting on you while you got better. So allegedly, your little situation where you was in the ICU. So you better take good care of your crew when you go on this tour starting in October, with rehearsals allegedly kicking off tomorrow. Again, but I'll keep y'all update on that as that story develops. Okay, so now let's move on to the next topic, because I have an update on this O'Shea Sibley case. So apparently, shout out to out.com for this story, because I had no idea that there was an update until I happened to I was looking for something. I forgot what it was. Oh, I think there was a story I was looking for, because apparently there was a drag racing that's going on where okay, so there's this filter that's on what was it? There's a filter that's on TikTok where it's like you could rate a lot of the drag race girls, but it's placed to the song of Monica Beverly Hills, which I call Not a Soaking Clock. but it's what a but it's a different name. But I call it not a soaking clock because it's funnier. But anyway, so you get to rate the queens on other stuff. So a lot of the Drag Race girls have been doing that on TikTok, and apparently they've been going at it and beefing. And I was trying to look for that story, but I can't remember where I saw it. So if I come across it, I'll bring it on next week's show. So I was looking for that, and I couldn't remember which website that I saw it on. So I happened to come across this story regarding O'Shea Sibley and an update. So here we go. So now the case against the killer of gay black man O'Shea Sibley moved forward as the teenager accused of the fatal stabbing pleaded not guilty in court on Friday. Dmitry Popov, the 17-year-old alleged killer, was inducted by a grand jury this week and has been charged with second-degree murder as a hate crime and criminal possession of a weapon in the murder of Sibley, who was killed while dancing with friends at a New York City gas station. Popov is being tried as an adult and is facing up to 25 years of life in prison for the alleged crimes. The hate crime enhancement could potentially raise any minimum sentence from 15 to 20 years. Now, according to security footage, Sibley was killed on July 29th after being taunted by a group of men, including Popov, in the parking lot of a Brooklyn gas station where he and his friends were voguing to Beyonce's music while getting gas. After the two groups argued, Popov allegedly stabbed Sibley in the ribs with a knife, damaging his heart. Now, Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez said the 28-year-old professional dancer was dancing joyfully and harming no one and called the crime both tragic and senseless at a press conference on August 11th. Now, Gonzalez went on to say that the men demanded that O'Shea and his friends stop dancing and use anti-black homophobic slurs. This entire community, and I'm talking primarily about the gay and queer communities in our country, feel particularly vulnerable at this moment in time, the district attorney said, pointing to any LGBTQ plus legislation as increasing rhetoric of hate towards this community. Now, Justice Craig S. Walker ordered that Popov continue to be held without bail at a juvenile detention center while awaiting trial. The teen will return to court on October 10th. Now, Popov's district attorney, Mark Pollard, said he might pursue a self-defense argument at trial, the New York Times reports. He went on to say that security footage shows that the client was recording what was happening and moving backward as he was approached by people who are older and larger than he is. Are you fucking kidding me with this shit? Saying he regrets what happens, he certainly does, but that doesn't mean he's guilty of a crime. It's two different things. Get off my line with this bullshit, okay? Now, here's the thing. You're not going to play that gay panic, self-defense bullshit because, first of all, they were minding their business and you decided because you were feeling uncomfortable and homophobic that you felt the need to tell somebody that you didn't like what they were doing, and the fact that they clap back instead of what you believe the media tells y'all is that whenever gay men or black men, y'all talk down to them, that they supposed to just, oh yes, we'll do what you tell us. We just gonna comply and listen. See, he didn't learn that. And the other ones over in Alabama got a rude awakening too. See, y'all keep listening to them fucking Jason Aldeans talking about tried and this, that, and the third. And when y'all do some shit, now the hellfire and rain come down on you, and now you want to try to change the situation. He feels bad because his ass got caught and his ass went to fucking jail. That's why he's upset. And that's why he feels bad. But you didn't feel bad when you was feeling all kinds of homophobic and you felt the need to take somebody's life. And then I remember hearing there was a story that he tried to use this whole thing about, oh, he's a Muslim and this, that, and the other. First of all, I didn't know there was some Russians that were Muslim now that we know his name. But then come to find out that he wasn't Muslim at all, because I believe that Page Six posted something that they said he was a good Catholic boy or something. I don't know any good Catholic boys that go around murdering people. But I can continue with my rant after we play this O'Shea clip. Roll the clip. I must have felt production on guard because he's taking forever with this clip. I don't get it. But, shout out to O'Shea. Dimitri, I hope they keep your ass under the jail. You do not deserve to get out. You need to learn that when you go around taking people's lives because you don't like what they're about or who they are and what they do, then you just got to suffer the consequences. And regardless of the fact of whether or not he was Catholic, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, worship the devil, I don't give a good goddamn. This motherfucker took somebody's life and he deserved to pay the consequences for that shit. It don't matter what his religion is. So I don't know. They try to turn it into some leftist rhetoric thing where they were trying to push this agenda. I was like, okay, we're not going to make this shit political. This got to do with the fact that y'all run out here. Well, maybe it should be political because we have politicians out here distracting people with saying gays are evil and they're coming for your children and stuff. Meanwhile, they doing all kinds of stealing of health care and that, denying people health care and taking away abortion rights and doing these other things under your noses and signing secret little, legislations at 11 o'clock at night and locking doors and shit so nobody can stop them. They pulling coups and stuff, but they want to distract y'all because the gays are coming to get you and the trans are coming to steal your kids and cut their dicks off and turn them inside out into a pussy. They're doing all this bullshit to distract y'all, playing into your fears and your phobias and your ignorance to distract you from all the other stuff going on. But it's easy to go pick a fight with a gay man. It's easy to pick a fight with a trans woman. But it's not easy to go after the government officials that's taking away all your goddamn rights. Y'all just sit back on your hands like y'all, that same energy that y'all have towards people that you don't even know or are aware of because of whatever you've been taught throughout your life, and you think this is what's natural, what isn't. It's easy to pick on that instead of actually fighting the real issues that we have going on in this goddamn country. But I digress. So good luck to I would say, I believe wholeheartedly you will get the justice you deserve. They will throw the book at this child and keep his ass locked up forever. And Dimitri, do drop the soap. Okay, so now let's get into this next story, which is let's talk about T.S. Madison. So on Wednesday, T.S. Madison appeared on Jason Lee's show, and the media personality dished on a plethora of topics, including her heated debate with Jess Hilarious, following her transphobic rant, her beef with Tasha K, if she's filing papers against Tasha, which I said in the beginning she needed to file charges against that bitch for Trashy K for posting her passport with her government name and everything on social media. Then she was trying to do it as a read. But the thing with Trashy K is she's not a good reader. She's a lazy reader. Like she, called me a man, called me sir, misgender me. All this. I was like, girl, them jokes is late. Your reads are tired. You're a tired fake ass bitch. I don't like her. I never liked her. I knew she was transphobic for a long time because there was one time she had said something on her show and I was like, okay, I can't get behind this hoe. And also, I'm glad that she's gonna take her to task. I said between her and Cardi, this bitch gonna have to figure. She gonna have to apply for bankruptcy. Did she apply for bankruptcy or file bankruptcy? I could have sworn she did. Girl, you ain't gonna have a dime left. But anyway, so she also talked about judging Drag Race and why she thinks Bros bombed at the box office. She also talked about Beyonce referencing on her song Cozy, and she also said she's a Grammy winner. So I was shocked when I had heard that she said she got a Grammy because Beyonce made sure she got a writing credit on the song and this and another. So along with Honey Redmond, as y'all know, was Honey Dijon, and that whole crew. Maddie is a Grammy winner. And like I said earlier, or I think I did say it earlier, but if I didn't, I'll say it again. Or if I did, I'd say it again. Maddie is currently getting her whole life at the Renaissance Tour out in Atlanta. I believe, like I said, Beyonce's doing 3 nights there. I think this is night 2, because I think she did one on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But she's doing one on Saturday. But anyway, so we have a clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk.
Yeah, because when you misgender, listen, I want to say this openly. I too have exuded transphobia myself.
Well, I used to say tranny. That's transphobia, right?
Yeah, right now. But I because when you misgender a person That is a part of transphobia. Because when you're misgendering someone, let's say we standing in a public place and all that, that's a man and she's trying to go in the bathroom and somebody wrestles this bitch down on the floor and she's a woman, but you've been messy saying that's a man because
Or if we call Caitlin Bruce.
Right. That's a part of transphobia.
Mm-hmm.
It might be, there's subtle parts of it and then there's extreme parts of it. I've done it myself by saying Wendy, Wendell, Bartholomew, Orenthal, Rufus Clyde.
Don't come for the queen.
Well, she did that. I did cackle. But look, child, I did call Caitlin Bruce in last week's episode, didn't I? Or no, there was one episode I did. I don't know if it was last week, but child, I did call her Bruce because, bitch, look, when you go against your own damn community, when you act like the coon of your own goddamn community, like Cooness Owens does when it comes to black people, like I said, Caitlyn Jenner and Flame Monroe are to the trans community what Candace Owens is to the black community. And I guess with Flame, that bitch likes to play flip-flop with her damn gender anyway, which confuses people, and I guess because she want to be a pick-me for the bigoted straight white women, well, not even straight white women, because they don't even rock with her, I guess, like that, but the straight black women who, the just hilarious types that sit up here and call y'all a goddamn abomination and y'all should be in straight jackets, those are the people that she pandered to. And don't get me started on Rock Teeth, Samson McCormick. But nevertheless, I did overall enjoy that episode and how she got candid about a lot of things dealing with, transphobia and stuff. And one of the things I've always loved about Maddie, and it ain't just because, a lot of times when I write comments and stuff, she does respond and she likes them. She, if I write an article on her on my website, she does retweet it and it gets a lot of attention. So I do appreciate the fact that Maddie looks out not only for like the big names, but the smaller names and everybody in between. Like, she gives love to everybody across the board. She's like one of the most humblest women in this space. So I love Maddie for that. And I think that's why I always follow her, because she's not like Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox will come at it in a more demure manner, and I do appreciate that, because Laverne is a different type of girl. Like, she's more or less, laid back, very sophisticated, very demure, and very much when they go low, we go high situation. Not me, and not Maddie, and that's why I think I rock with her more, because it's like she gives it to you raw and uncut and unfiltered, like me, and basically gives it to you straight with no chaser. And to me, I prefer people like that. Not saying that what the Laverne Cox way is bad. It's just she's a little more tame compared to my taste. Me, I like getting down in the gutter when I need to. Like, you come for me, I'm gonna cuss your ass out. Ain't no qualms about it. But overall, I'd say this to say I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. I don't normally watch Jason Lee and stuff like that. Like, I've always found Jason to be annoying and problematic in a lot of situations. But for me, when I watched that interview, I was like, oh, he's actually grown as an interviewer. Like, he wasn't, and I didn't even mind the fact that he kept saying that, oh, well, this person, like the name dropping stuff, like that wasn't bad, because it felt like it was warranted in the conversation they were having. So I didn't really have that much of a problem with Jason Lee in this episode. So I thought he did a good job. Like, I guess he's getting better at the whole interviewing thing, because I didn't see it for him for a long time. But like I said, even if I'm not a real big fan of certain people, if I watch your stuff, I'm gonna give you your props when you need to get it. Robert says Laverne has a mainstream platform that she can't afford. Well, you're right. I think with T.S. Madison is a hustler, so should something go down, she's like, I'll always find a way to make a coin. So if these people don't want to rock me, fuck them. I will find a way to get that endorsement deal, to get that money elsewhere. Because, remember, she started out titties at the top, dick at the bottom, as she always liked to say. Like, she started out as that Vine girl. Well, the porn star and the Vine girl, and it transcended from there. So I'm surprised you haven't heard the stuff that Blair White and former adult star. Well, ain't Buck Angel a Trump supporter? I don't know. quiet as it's kept, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't pay attention to a lot of the white trans women because I feel like when it comes to a lot of issues, white trans women can be very quiet when it comes to a lot of things that goes on in the communities. So I also feel like when now that I look at it, when you look at certain aspects of the trans community, I feel like the black trans girls and the white trans girls are on two separate spectrums. So when it comes down to things, I don't feel like the white trans girls are as outspoken. I have a question. Is Trace Lissette a white queen? Because if she is, she might be an exception. Because she does kind of teeter more on the black side when it comes to a lot of the issues and the conversations that are had in that sort of way. So if you guys have not seen that episode, definitely go to Jason Lee's YouTube channel and check out his interview with T.S. Madison, because I have to say it is definitely inspiring to watch, especially the conversation she was having about the girl that started that whole conversation about periods. And she said she was like, people went in a whole rant about the clip. And I believe that I mentioned that there was the conversation when I first started talking about it in my 30-minute breakdown of that story. Because it was a long one, and you know, when you gotta take the time to actually give people the tea on what's going on, sometimes you gotta it takes a minute to break shit down. So I remember, I believe that the trans woman was talking to her partner about periods and this, that, and the third, and was saying that, yeah, cis women are not the only ones that own periods. Y'all like to leave out trans men and those who identify as, you know, gender non-conforming, non-binary, that sort of thing. Like, not everybody identifies as a female or a woman in situations. Y'all forget trans men can have periods. So you don't entirely own it. Now, she didn't say nothing about trans women can have periods, because first of all, if you are someone who was assigned male at birth and you was born with a dick between your legs, common sense tells you that we cannot have periods because we got a dick. Now, we can have children because many trans men and trans women have kind of fornicated together and had kids out of a situation. There have been trans men who went off the testosterone and got pregnant and had the baby full term and all that other stuff. So there have been many of things that people have used a lot of this situation. So I say all that to say that, you know, we're not all a monolith. It's definitely a great interview, and definitely check it out. Victor says Trace she was brought up in ballroom, so she understands black and brown trans issues. So that's why I said, like, I feel like and she just won an award, didn't she? I could have sworn she just won. I believe she was honored at at a ball or something. I forget which one, but I did see something. I was scrolling. I think it was on Gay Magazine. I was scrolling through because they always pop up in my Instagram feed, and I believe that they honored her with an award or something at one of the balls. So I do agree with that. That Trace is someone who was brought up in ballroom, so she black adjacent, because, you know, she is, you know, she is kind of, you know, mingled within those circles, so she will be one to speak up when it comes to black trans issues. Because I always feel like with the white trans girls and the black trans girls, yeah, the experiences are way different, because black trans girls are way at the bottom compared to the white trans girls. But I think I know more of the story and the history of black trans women and Latino trans women because of ballroom and the stroll and a lot of different things that have been going on. Speaking of which, before we get into the regular topics that we have coming up, did y'all see the movie that came out on oh my God, what is it? It's on, why am I thinking Apple TV? But it's not. It's Amazon Prime, and it's called Red, White, and Royal Blue. I saw that on Thursday because I didn't know it was coming out on Thursday. I was going to wait till Friday, but I actually watched it, and it was actually a cute movie. So if y'all have not seen that, definitely check it out. It's basically about the son of the president has a secret affair with the Prince of England. He's sort of like the I was going to say Harry Styles, Prince Harry. He's the Prince Harry of the royal family who hunches the son of the president. Now, the president is played by my girl Uma Thurman, and the first dad is played by Clifton Collins Jr., who I am a huge fan of. I've always loved Clifton Collins and stuff. He's a Latino actor. he's a character actor. He always pops up. Like, if we see his face, you'll definitely know who he is. But I like seeing him in there, and I love seeing Sarah Shahi. I always love some Sarah Shahi ever since she was on The L Word. And then she was in, she's been in a lot of things, but she also was in Black Adam, which we're not getting another one of those. But she was in that movie, and she's been in a lot of stuff. But I did thoroughly enjoy it. But one of the things that irritated me about that film, why the fuck was it rated R? Like, to me, there was nothing in that film that was rated R worthy. There was a couple of suggestive language things, and there was a quick butt shot when the president's son jumps out of the bed and you see his ass in it for a quick second. But other than that, there was nothing in the film that was deemed rated R worthy. So I didn't get why the film was rated R. I feel like the reason why it was is because it was a gay film, or it was a movie with gay characters in it. And these companies, these MPAA people are being fucking biased. I'm like, come on now. In 2023, we still doing this shit. Even when a film is tame, it's good. It gets an R rating. Now, if this was like a movie with the same film with a straight couple, I guarantee you that shit would have been rated PG-13. It should not have been rated PG. It should not have been rated R. I feel like it should have been PG-13. But yeah, I just want to point that out. Real quick. All right, so let's get into our we can finally get into the topics of the show. So I'm sure y'all are well aware of this big thing that happened last weekend. So I was minding my business, and I don't know, I happened to see this meme that showed people on a dock fighting, and it said, "I'm going to tell my kids this is the Boston Tea Party." I cackled, but I was like, I don't get the joke. What's this mean? So then, of course, I wound up going down this rabbit hole, and I discovered there was a big old brawl that broke out in Alabama last Sunday. And what I didn't know is that this was all kind of coming to a head because hours prior, there was a Trump rally that was going on in Alabama, and Trump was riling up the crazies and the white racists, his base of angry people, angry for no damn reason, people who want to just be given permission to just be bigots. And they got what was coming to them. So apparently, Montgomery Police Chief Darrell J. Albert told reporters on Tuesday that 3 white men aboard a private pontoon boat, Richard Roberts, who's 48, Alan Todd, who's 23, and Zachary Shipman, 25, have 4 warrants pending for attacking Damian Pickett, a co-captain of the Harriet II riverboat that was blocked from docking. Roberts has 2 warrants pending, while Todd and Shipman have 1 pending warrant. They each have 1 pending warrant. Well, here's the thing. They did turn themselves in, and they've been charged with assaulting the black riverboat captain. And what had happened was, the co-captain had approached the dock and attempted to peacefully move the boat over. The owners of the boat confronted him in a hostile way. Authorities said that they had consulted with the FBI and would not be able to charge the man without a hate crime or with inciting a riot. Now, here's the thing. It was a hate crime because then it came out from the captain that racial slurs were thrown at him. They called him the N-word, and one of them threatened to go get their gun to kill him. And here's the thing, what I had said. I had said, you know what? The great thing about this whole thing, and I was living for the memes, child. Like, if you would have followed me on Facebook and everywhere, I was the meme queen when it came to these memes about this brawl shit. There was so many memes that came out that was hilarious regarding the folding chair. So I didn't know, did anybody go out? A folding chair sold out because there were some people that needed some. Oh yeah, and I did hear that too. That one, and I'm glad you brought that up. So Victor says one of the women is related to the governor. So yeah. Oh, was that the one that got knocked upside the head with the chair? Because I think that was who they said was the one that's related to the governor. So clearly, there's a lot of, it's obvious that, a place like Alabama, Mississippi, a lot of those areas are full of, racists. And they had Aquaman, the kid that jumped into the water that went to go help his colleague because he was being jumped by a bunch of white dudes. So this kid jumped in the water, that nasty ass water, to go help the captain. And it seemed like everything was calm. Then the boat docked. Then people got off the boat. Then they went and swarmed that little yacht or whatever the fuck it was, that little tugboat that them white people was on, like the beehive. They swarmed it like the bees, the beehive. Then I heard the smack. Did y'all hear that smack come through the thing? Like, I'm like, damn, I heard that shit all the way on that phone. And that phone was far away too. But you heard the smack. I was like, whoa, he smacked fire at that motherfucker. And then all of a sudden, it just a whole fight broke out. Yeah, Scuba Gooding Jr. The Crocs, basically his feet done ate the Crocs. The Crocs was on his damn calves by the time for all that much out. That's why I told y'all, I don't know why you're wearing them ugly ass shoes. I've been saying for years, Crocs is the worst thing y'all been wearing their feet. And I read everybody that wear them shits. The only time I wore Crocs was when I had to wear them when I worked in the food industry, and I was like, them shits was comfortable. They were not comfortable. In fact, my feet hated me for putting them shits on. So there's a method to my madness on why I throw major shade at Crocs. But y'all be comfortable. Okay, well, you wear them ugly ass shits. But you see what happened? He wore them ugly ass shoes, and then his feet wound up eating the Crocs. So then the Crocs was like wrapped around his calf by the time he was pinned to the ground and arrested. And then so it was literally like the whites against the blacks. It literally looked like a standoff in the Avengers movie. And then it was just crazy. And then the good thing, what I loved is like the black women that were going to jump in, because of course the white girls, I don't know, y'all really don't understand how to fight. They don't know nothing about fighting. Y'all don't jump into, when men are fighting, bitch, why y'all be jumping in? See, this is where y'all get the fire slapped out of y'all too, because everybody, see, when it comes to us in the community, we don't sit and think like, okay, so you're a woman, we're not going to put our hands on, oh no, you're going to get it too. So if you jump on me, bitch, you get the you get in the backhand. Sorry, but you just a bystander that's just gonna get it if you jump in. But what I like was that the black women were on the side. They were like, I'm gonna just stand here and I'm gonna wait for this bitch to try something. Then when they took that step, she was like, oh, and I'm gonna jump in. But then what killed me was then the dude went and got the folded chair and bopped that bitch on top of the head multiple times. Child, she wound up looking like what's her name? She was looking like Meryl Streep in Death Becomes Her, where the neck was over here like that. That's what she was looking like by the time that shit was done. So, and then they show her mugshot. Her mugshot she looked crazy. And she had like, her nose was all busted. I saw one where they said she looked like Lady Elaine Fairchild from Mr. Rogers. Now, y'all don't know who she looked. That's the one with the short hair and had like the rosy cheeks and the big red burnt, like the red tip nose. That looked real big. That was Lady Elaine Fairchild. And what I also love was that people equated Try That in a Small Town, that horrible ass song. They pinned that with the memes and this, that, and the third. So what I found that was just, in my opinion, hilarious, because it's like, oh yeah, y'all was feeling all kinds of way because Trump got y'all all riled up with his bullshit and rhetoric, because at the end of the day, he gonna run up in a vehicle with security and ride off, but y'all gonna be left out here in the weeds getting fucked up. And so that happens. And then on top of that, you got Jason Aldean talking about try something in a goddamn small town, and y'all tried it in a small town, got your ass beat, basically. So, and I did see something where it said, Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town suffers historic drop from Billboard Hot 100 top spot. And somebody said, look at what that fight in Alabama did. White folks ain't playing the song no more. The biggest fall in Billboard and country history. Yeah, so that's what it was. Y'all fucked around and y'all found out. Y'all literally thought because y'all was so used to black people, we having to comply, not resist. Whenever people, we comply, we do all the things, and we get beat up, shot, murdered. The judicial system don't do shit. Apparently, y'all always want to sweep it under a rug like it's not a hate crime. So the one time we finally see some justice being served, because at this point, niggas is tired. Not T-I-R-E-D. We tired. T-I-D-E. That is beyond exhausted, bitch. We are tired of the bullshit. We're tired of white people just walking through life oblivious, doing whatever the fuck y'all want, and thinking that y'all not gonna pay the price for it. And y'all got y'all asses handed to y'all tenfold. So, they all get what they deserve. So I heard all the 3 men were charged. The guy who hit the woman in the head with the folded chair, he turned himself in. He was charged. I did hear that story. And at the end of the day, it's like, look, Fuck around, find out. That's basically what it is. And to wrap this story up is like my favorite Dr. Seuss rhyme says, and hear how it goes. We will hit you with a chair. We will even swim to get there. So be careful when you scream and shout. You're going to mess around and find out. End scene. And that's all I got to say on that. Okay. Brought to you by Dr. Seuss Child. Now, here's one person that worked my root canal damn nerve. So, Marlon Wayans, unfunny ass, decided to assert himself into the situation and got dragged on social media. So actor Marlon Wayans has been slammed for sharing an Instagram post about the Alabama brawl where he misquoted Jason Aldean's new song and called on the fighters to be love, not war. Now, Wayans has now responded to the backlash received after commenting on the recent Alabama Riverboat brawl that took place on Saturday, August 5th. The comedian insisted that his initial comment was pure irony and sarcasm, although many found it to be condemning and misleading. I'm going with the latter because it was not ironic or sarcastic. I mean, maybe it was to Marlon Wayans because, in my opinion, quiet as it's kept, the motherfucker ain't funny. But we'll continue. On Tuesday, August 8th, the 50 Shades of Black actor took to his Instagram with 2 videos clarifying that his comments were misinterpreted. He also posed a rhetorical question. Why the F would I criticize black people for defending themselves? I'm black, the fuck? Because you did. Now, in the first clip, Wayans shared that he woke up Tuesday morning to a bunch of stupid-ass Google alerts from a bunch of stupid-ass sites misinterpreting his comment. The remark in question read, how about we not try that in a small town? Shit silly, bro. Let's all just be love, not war. The Wayans brothers star left with his sentiments on a clip of the brawl that broke onto the Montgomery Riverboat dock between a group of black people and white people with potential racial implications. The fight started when a black dock owner was allegedly attacked by a white man after asking the man to move his boat. The fight grew bigger as more white people joined attacking the black man, leading other black bystanders to assist the dock worker. One black man even swam through the water to help out as the brawl began to get out of hand. So here's the thing. I don't understand. Well, before I get my comment, I gotta finish. Wayans 51 added in another clip. That's the thing about social media, man. It's not for interpretation. Y'all tripping. It makes no effing sense. None at all. I shouldn't even address it. It's that stupid. But people want to make articles, interpretations. Do it. I don't care. Black people know I love black people. I'm black. Well, I think it's hard for us to actually know if sometimes y'all like black people when y'all get to a certain status, because the first thing y'all do is when y'all get a little bit of wealthiness in your wallet, y'all run after white women and you marry them and this, that, and the third, and have a bunch of damn babies with them, or don't marry them, but just have a bunch of babies with them and make them a bunch of damn baby mamas, and then you throw your own goddamn people under the bus for, a sense of social status. Not saying that's Marlon Wayans, but that's just how a lot of it seems like Hollywood turns out. And the fact of the matter was, yeah, we know you're black. I can totally see that. I don't have cataracts in my eyeballs, so I can clearly see your ass is black. But sometimes when shit go down, I need you and people like you to shut the fuck up and let us bask in the glory. Because any other time when there's some shit going down, when white people out here killing black people, did he say anything when George Floyd was, had the knee on his neck? Did he say anything when the girl was shot in the car, ended up all of a sudden, the one that got arrested in her car and then wound up in a cell, she was dead? Like, when things happen to people in our community at the hands of white people, I don't hear people like a Marlon Wayans having that same energy. But when a time comes that black people are tired of being taken advantage of and abused and tore down and gone after by racist ass white people who have been radicalized thanks to the bullshit that they get spoon fed from Donald Trump, who could give 2 shits and a fuck about y'all anyway. All he cares about is getting his name in lights and talked about in the papers. He don't care about none of y'all. He knows he can gaslight a bunch of fucking idiots and it's gonna get him attention. But y'all too stupid to see that. And he literally said it out of his own fucking mouth, because the motherfucker don't know when to shut up. So let people have a moment. Every time when that whole make love not war and all that other crap, child, say that shit for a Bob Marley song. Or if you want to have your little Gandhi moment, bring that up when it's warranted. This wasn't the time nor the place. You talk about let's make love not war, whatever the fuck he said. Like, get off my line with this bullshit. So, and I do agree with Robert. None of them are a Keenan, because he was the funniest. Well, actually, it was Keenan, Damon, and Kim. Those are my top three out of that whole family. Keenan Ivory Wayans was well, he was literally the GOAT. He created In Living Color. Then Damon Wayans was, the funny one. And Kim, child, I used to live for Kim, especially back when she did, she was on the phone call with In a Low Down Dirty Shame. Her scene was hilarious. But anytime Kim pops up, she's the funny one. The next generation of siblings, I was like, you're not giving it to me. It's not good when these be gay. And I can't hate on Damon Wayans Jr. because he produced that show with Miss Benny on Netflix. So I see his name was on that. So I'm not gonna hate on him too hard. But other than that, it's like I never really cared for Marlon and Sean. Like they was never funny to me. Especially when they did the Wayans brothers. Like, child, that was I was gonna say the U People's Network, but it was actually on the WB before they was the CW. And I never thought that show was funny. I did like that theme song though. Give me a high five. Anyway, let's move on from that, child. Now, more racist people in the damn news. Let's talk about this fool for Big Brother. So now the father of Big Brother housemate Luke Valentine, who was just kicked out of the Big Brother house a week into its premiere for using a racial slur in a conversation captured on the Paramount Plus live feed, is coming to his son's defense. Now, speaking with TMZ, Valentine's father says their family ties prove a lack of prejudice. Yeah, okay. If you missed it, Luke Valentine was booted this week after live feeds captured him using a racial slur in conversation with two of the White House guests, as well as a black man. His dad, James, tells us that his son's behavior was surprising and disappointing for a few reasons. Luke's father says his son has many family members who are black, including a stepmom and step-siblings, as well as biracial cousins, and he says Luke is absolutely not racist and was not raised in a racist family. The dad says Luke's stepmother was also disappointed to hear him use the N-word on the live feeds, but we're told she feels he's a good kid regardless if they have a good relationship. Luke's pops also say he never heard Luke using a racial slur. Well, I guess you heard it for the first time when you saw that live feed on Big Brother, because he said it. I've seen the video. And he believes his son was not intended to be racist, though he admits his kid said the wrong thing and has to be more mindful of what comes out of his mouth, which I believe is a problem with white folks to be, yes, glamorous. Thank you. Which seems to be a problem with a lot of white folks. See, white people have never had to be mindful of the things that comes out of their mouth because their privilege doesn't allow them to be mindful. They can just walk around thinking that they can say anything. But we are in an era now where people have to be held accountable for the things that they say. And he said the N-word ever so, not eloquently, effortlessly. He just said it, just slipped out of his mouth. And then he was like, oh, I meant to say this. And he started laughing about it. And what pissed me off was the black dude was sitting up in there defending this shit. And then said that, oh, I had this running joke with my girlfriend. And the first thing before he said, he confirmed my fucking theory on it. I said, is the bitch white? And he literally admitted right after I said it, his girlfriend was white. Oh, y'all feel more uncomfortable with me, y'all saying it. And this is what irritates me, because this is the problem that I have, is the fact that we have black people who run around in these interracial relationships, and y'all run around having to make white people feel, thank you, Jared, whatever the fuck. That coon, because that's what the fuck I'm gonna call his black ass, when y'all sitting there sticking your dick in white pussy. And this is not me. I hope y'all don't think I'm being prejudiced and this and that, but I'm just calling it as I see it. The fact of the matter is that we have our own people in our own community who step outside the race, and y'all try to look down on your own people to make white people feel comfortable in their own shit. So if they happen to be feeling awkward or weird or whatever, we have to always cowtail ourselves or dilute and water ourselves down so that way we don't make y'all feel uncomfortable in situations and this, that, and the third. So when you up in there, oh, I had this little running joke with the girlfriend, it's like, there should be no joking or anything of any kind of any white woman or anybody white fixing themselves to say that word. And I know we can go on this whole thing where everybody's, well, nobody should be saying your period. Well, you don't get to tell and dictate what people should say when it's a word that has been used to oppress people. Black people have taken the word, and you can call it however you say it, but this is how I see it. Black people have taken the word and have turned a negative for them into a positive. Same thing with women with the word bitch. Women have taken that word and used it for something else. Me, I use the F word when it comes to gays and stuff, but I use it within my own people as a term of endearment. Yes, we can use those words, but I don't understand why people get mad. Well, why can't I say? Because you can. Because you can. That's why. So if you can't understand the fact that you're not allowed to say certain things because you're not allowed to, for far too long, y'all done far worse to black people than calling them the N-word. But yeah, you making a mistake of saying that, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't his intent. Maybe it was. I don't know. Did CBS go too far by being like, well, you know what? You got to go because you said something, whatever. But, people are so... I think the problem is networks are so quick they're so jumpy with things. Any little thing you say or do, you have to, I feel like we're in a time now where people are so on edge and so jumpy when it comes to any little thing you say or do. You have to literally be extra cautious whenever you say things that come out of your mouth, because the networks be like, we don't want that smoke. We don't want the backlash from the fans. We don't want to have to deal with people talking about, well, we're going to boycott your show because this guy says a word about us, and we can't have this. We can't tolerate you saying these things in the show. We can't be putting up with that. So you got to go. But at the end of the day, as the lower third says, is Big Brother the most problematic and racist show on TV? Because quiet as it's kept, there have been many complaints about situations about Big Brother over how many seasons we in? Like 20, 30 seasons? Like that show been on for like damn near 2 decades. But we have gone through situations where Big Brother has been called out for so many racist things that have gone down and have been said in the house with a lot of the contestants. And to me also, it's a slap in the face, child, whenever somebody white says, oh, he's not racist, he has relatives that's black. That's like somebody that's like a Klansman saying some of my best friends are black, so I'm gonna just call you, every third word I'm gonna just say nigga. He gave me permission. Oh, that's another thing I want to tell you. So one time I was in the circus and there were some kids that I worked with. I'm not gonna say their names, but they were siblings, and their mother was white, and their father is black, and I think they grew up in Hawaii, this, that, and the third. So anyway, they had this friend that also traveled with them, was a white kid, and one time we were all congregating together, and he said nigga, and bitch, I tell you, my neck turned like I was Reagan in the goddamn Exorcist, and I don't know what happened, but I was like, do not say that word around me. Oh, but so-and-so gave me permission. So I said, I don't give a fuck who gave you permission. And if you around me, I don't want to hear that word come out your fucking mouth. And one of my other friends, who I guess is came up with them, and he's from Hawaii also, he came to me, he was like, well, thank you for saying something, because I appreciate you for saying something because you wasn't comfortable with it. I said, yeah, because I don't give a fuck. Like, if you say something, and my thing has always been this, when you say something that I don't agree with and I don't like, you are not gonna say them words and shit. I don't give a fuck who gave you permission. And this is a person of color that gave this white kid permission to say that word. So it kind of makes me wonder if the same situation applies in his household, with the fact that he has a black stepmother and he has biracial cousins and this, that, and the third. Are they saying the N-word around the house? And is this something that is a word used freely amongst each other? Because when you got a household full of black folks, then sometimes I guess they feel like they have the permission to say certain things. And we should not be giving people permission to be saying anything just because you want to be down with certain races and this and that, or you want to date white girls or whatever. We're not doing that. Now on Beyonce's internet. So, okay. Child, I am over the dealing with people and bullshit today. But we got to keep going, because we got to talk about soup coolers. That Butch Queen, Neo. So apparently, I woke up on Sunday morning, minding my business. So I was like, let me just go online, and because I got up, took a shower, this, and the third, and was going to write some articles. And this is before I watched The Brunch Club, which is a show that production's partner, DJ Baker, does along with Yvonne and, oh my God, how did I forget her name? Chaos the Rapper. Yeah, so it's a gay guy and two lesbians, all in the world of hip hop music, of LGBT hip hop. They're all, they play a lot of LGBTQ hip hop artists and stuff on their individual programs, and they came together and decided to put together a podcast that comes on Sundays. So if y'all ever get a chance, definitely check out that show, The Brunch Club. It's a cute show, but anyway, they talk about a lot of the hot topics in the and the third. So before I went to watch their show, it's a 2-hour show, by the way. I was like doing articles and stuff. And one of the articles I ended up doing was this one. I was reading about Neo. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about now? And then he started talking about people with gender issues. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Another one giving unsolicited advice about children and gender identity when he don't know what the fuck he talking about. So basically he went on this bitch, some fucking video hoe who an ex-video hoe turned podcast. So I didn't know this bitch had a show until I saw the clip. Now apparently it's a part of Vlad TV. So DJ Vlad is her boss, which I shouldn't have been surprised. Ooh, Lord, what is that? It looked like the creature under my damn under the bridge. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry, but Neo is not attractive. That's what I was gonna say too. Everybody got a fucking podcast, apparently. So he was doing he did this podcast, whatever, because Neo ain't been in, and Neo has not been relevant since 2014. So he had to go make noise somewhere, and somebody give him attention. So everybody knows whenever you're pretty much like down in the gutter with no career, and your career is like on his last legs, you go over to DJ Vlad. Ask Miss Bussy, because she on there every other week. Her and, the same old tired ass people that he always has on there. But anyway, I've never particularly cared for DJ Vlad because I always felt like DJ Vlad is, a culture vulture. It ain't just about throwing shade at the trans community and stuff, but I feel like he's profiting off of the backs of blacks. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But anyway, so apparently this bitch, who apparently I totally forgot about this until it was brought up, that she apparently got knocked up at 16 by Aaron Hall and wound up having an abortion, allegedly, but is going to sit up in here and push this propaganda about trans children. But bitch, you get babies sucked out your vagina courtesy of a doctor. Okay. So anyway, so he went and said this on this tight ass podcast. I have no issue with LBG because apparently he don't know the acronyms, but he got no problems with us. And we all know that when you have a problem with somebody, you don't start your conversation off with, I have no issue, because clearly you do, and you're about to list your issue. So he says, I have no issue with LBG. I have no problem with nobody. He forgot the T, but apparently that was the issue you had the problem with. You love who you love. You do what you do. I just personally come from an era where a man was a man, a woman was a woman. There was two genders, and that's just how I rock. You could identify as a goldfish. Don't you love when they just compare us to animals? I just love that because, apparently we pedophiles and we fuck animals. We're into bestiality. We're into fucking kids. We do all of that stuff. Mind you, last time I checked, I've been seeing a lot of videos of straight people doing all that shit. But that's a whole nother conversation. That ain't my business. It comes from my business when you try to make me play the game with you. I'm not going to call you a goldfish, but if you want to be a goldfish, you go be a goldfish. We live in a weird time, man. We do. Now, you do know he has 7 children. He would have had 8 or maybe more than that if he didn't have Moneta, his first wife, tie her damn tubes and then say he didn't want no more kids and then go fuck another bitch and get her pregnant with his children. Let's not forget about that. But you want to sit out here and act like you father of the year. Now, he went on to say, I feel like parents have almost forgotten what the role of a parent is. If your little boy comes to you and says, Daddy, I want to be a girl, and you just let him rock with that, yes. If he says he's a girl, then yes, you understand that and be like, okay, then you take it from there. If you let the 5-year-old boy decide to eat candy all day, he's going to do that. When did it become a good idea to let a 5-year-old, let a 6-year-old, let a 12-year-old make a life-changing decision for themselves? When did that happen? I don't understand. He can't drive a car yet, but he could decide his sex? Yes, because that's the one thing. That's the one thing that I think, okay, so kids, I believe, know who they are when they're young. It's just like me. I knew I was gay from the time I was like, what, 6, 7 or whatever. I didn't know what it was because it was a title, and I grew up in the same time as Neo. I didn't have a title for it, but I knew what I was and I knew what I was into. I mean, I did sleep with women, but at the same time, you know, at the same time, I knew who I was and I knew what I was into and I knew what I was attracted to, but I just didn't have a name for it. Now, when it comes to transgender things, I'm sick and tired of people sitting here, you just gonna let a child decide? If a kid is going around saying that this is their feelings and this is how they feel, whatever, maybe you should take that into consideration and try to understand where they're coming from, and don't be like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're too young. But meanwhile, y'all know as an adult, you've decided what your kid is once they've come out. You're the one who decided, I'm going to put blue on him because he's a boy and pink on the daughter because they're a girl, instead of letting the children carve out their own identity. What people need to realize is, yes, kids need boundaries, kids need rules, kids need discipline. But also, when you have a child, because I raised my goddaughter, so if people want to go over here and say, and she is 23 about now, I believe. So yes, I raised my goddaughter because, long story, I'm not going to get into it. So I have raised a child. So I understand what it's like to take care of a kid and do what needs to be done for a kid and make those decisions for her, but also allow her to figure out who she is as a cisgender heterosexual child. So I understand what it's like to be a parent, even though I haven't physically had one. I raised one. So when it comes down to things, you have to allow children to figure out who they are, leave them the space, but also bring them in and be like, you know what? So if I had a situation where, God forbid, I had a trans child, what people need to realize is there are many steps that a kid has to go through to figure out who they are. And as it was explained also in the interview, if you watch with T.S. Madison, and I've been saying this for years, being trans starts up here. It starts in the mind first. It doesn't start with the whole physical transformation. I don't know why people think transgender is all physical. It's all transforming the body. Or they think, oh, well, at 5 years old, I'm just going to go to the doctor and have my child's penis turn into a vagina. That's not how that works. That is a last resort. The gender reassignment surgery is a last resort. And that's also quite expensive. And if you've ever watched the show I Am Jazz, because I feel like Jazz Jennings has been around, because he says, oh, when I was growing up, we only had 2 genders. That's bullshit. Now, technically, he might be right, but trans people have always existed. I've been aware of trans people since the 80s, and I was a fetus in the 80s. I was a mere child in the 80s. So, I became more aware of trans people in the 90s as I got older. But what I don't understand when people is that they feel like there was only 2 genders. I said, maybe that's what you was aware of. But girl, you was out here giving full-on Butch Queen tease with your whole look. And that's probably why he really mad, because throughout his entire career, people have always, swarmed him with gay rumors. And no shade, but I had somebody tell me this, and you know what? I don't give a fuck. Because people get mad when I out people. But when it pertains to causing harm and damage to the community, especially when you have a platform like Neo's, and when you have a platform, the type of platform that you have a responsibility as a human being to watch the shit you say, because your words hold weight. And when you say certain things, that carries over, and people take that as catnip. So every little thing that when y'all sit out here, you doing this stuff, that puts more targets on the backs of our community. And so I heard some tea from somebody who y'all know is real familiar and is on the Beyonce album, said that they were told that Neo was supposed to come out in a Vibe interview back in the 90s, but in the earliest part of his career. I don't remember when this motherfucker came out, but I remember he was supposed to be because I don't think it was the 90s, it was later on, because he came out in like the later 2000s. So he was gonna come out of the closet in Vibe magazine, but chickened out, allegedly. So I'm gonna just say that. So you running out here saying all this shit, Miss Mama, you need to worry about your own damn kids and hope and pray none of them 7 come out being gay or any member of the LGBT, especially the T. You better hope and pray that don't happen, because a lot of times when a lot of these parents come out here and they do that shit, God gets you back through your kids. And not saying that being trans or being gay is a punishment, but it's just when you out here spewing negativity towards certain communities, that usually happens. Same thing with white people being racist. 9 times out of 10, they child gonna come back home with a black kid or a black husband or a black wife, or come out with interracial children. Yeah, so thank you. That 2000 he came out that's mid 2000 whatever. So Victor says Neo's interview really upset me. Uneducated people love to spit out their opinions about the trans community. There are plenty of trans people in the entertainment who people can ask. Exactly. And this, you know what, that's another thing that irritates me too. Everybody has an opinion on trans people. Because I even saw recently that Joe Budden and them was talking about it, and people on the panel was saying certain things. And thank God for Melissa Ford, because she's apparently one of the girls on the show now. Remember when she used to be with Jason Lee? I wonder what happened with that, with her and Hollywood Unlocked. But anyway, so she was the only one who was like, you know what? If y'all want to bring somebody on, like, we could have somebody that wants to come on the show and we could talk about the trans issues. And she brought up T.S. Madison's name, and T.S. put the clip on her thing. So it's like, y'all running out here saying all this bullshit when you can call a Hope Giselle. Y'all can not even call. Y'all could DM Hope Giselle. You could DM Angelica Ross, Laverne Cox, Peppermint, T.S. Madison. There's so many black trans women out here who are walking the walk and doing the work that y'all can call them up and get the information that y'all need. And the funny thing was, Neo's publicist, apparently, because he said that's what she did, or he did, I don't know the person's gender, but the publicist went out and put out an apology. Then he goes and doubles down and says that wasn't him, that was the publicist, and now he's gonna come out and be like, well, I'm gonna stick to what I said, and this is what I said, and I said what I said, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I love the fact that Neil was not backing down. He is showing y'all who he is. And like Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So he showed us who he is. He can stay being the bigot. And y'all have the choice of whether or not to support his music or you don't. Well, what music? Because he ain't put out nothing worth listening to in eons. And Beyonce ain't hiring him to write no songs. So, yeah, he doubled down. He said that he'll educate himself on this topic, but, you know, he's going to stick to his own whatever. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. If you're willing to just stand by the bullshit that you say, if you believe wholeheartedly in being uneducated and misinformed about trans people and what parents are dealing with having a trans child, especially when we live in a time where there's so many homeless LGBT youth on the streets because parents are embarrassed or worrying more or less about what the neighborhood or their church and stuff thinks. If you can't look at that aspect instead of being ignorant and thinking that you're just hitting certain talking points because it's going to get you brownie points with certain parts of the community, which it will, but we'll see how it affects your career, especially when there's so many LGBTQ people that work in Hollywood. And you should know better because you work in Hollywood. So I'm sure you've been around enough people, and especially enough artists that you work with that have sex with girls with a little something extra. So let's not be stupid, Neo. Because remember, you know, they've been calling you a butch queen for years. You could have walked a category in a ball. So I did find it hilarious that he called himself, I'm a 43-year-old heterosexual man with 5 boys and 2 girls. Child, there's a question mark around heterosexual. Because don't nobody believe that. Not even the bitches you be hunching. But anyway, let's move on from him because I'm tired of talking about that trash. And let's talk about let's get a little more positive. And give a huge congratulations to Wayne Brady, who has finally decided to live his life out loud and proud. Now, Brady is ready to tell the world how he identifies. He says, I'm pansexual, meaning that he is attracted to persons regardless of their sex or gender. Brady basically put it like this. He said, I'm bisexual with an open mind. He takes a deep breath, leans back into the sofa, opens up the people. Below is Brady's story in his own words, saying, I'm in doing research. both with myself and just with the world. I couldn't say if I was bisexual because I had to really see what that was, especially because I really have not gotten a chance to act on anything. So I came to pansexual because, and I know that I'm completely messing up the dictionary meaning, but to me, pan means being able to be attracted to anyone who identifies as gay, straight, bi, transsexual, or non-binary, being able to be attracted across the board. And I think, at least for me right now, that is the proper place. I took pan to mean that not only can I be attracted to any of these people or types physically, but I could be attracted to the person that is there. Like with any blessing, I'm like, how cool? How it's cool that people like me, especially doing a show like Let's Make a Deal, or when various companies or networks think I want to Wayne Brady to host this. What a blessing! What a blessing to be in people's homes every day and connect with them. I love that piece of it, but there are days where I'm not a fan of it because really, I'm an actor. I don't want to lead personality first. Let's be really honest. I've also been attracted to certain men in my life, but I've always pushed that aside because of how I was raised and because I live in today's world and it's scary as shit. What's the fastest way to hurt another man? I'm going to call you out of your name. I'm going to call you gay. I'm going to emasculate you. I'm going to use the F word. I learned that very early from the people around me. They're like, oh, so those are bad things. Yeah, you don't want to be that. Oh, yeah, I totally get it because I've heard those things. I think many of us have heard that growing up. So what does it mean if I feel something? I don't think I'm gay, but what if I feel something for another man that's still gay? I was already bullied about a bunch of other ish. I don't want to add a top hat on top of that suit. So you know what? I congratulate him with ooh, Victor said he's sliding into Wayne's DMs. Well, your car gonna be full because you sliding in the Wayne DMs. You said you was sliding in Ricky Martin's DMs. But excuse me, here's the thing. I hate being that guy that said no, that who didn't know Wayne Brady was a little, had a little sugar in his tank. But we all kind of sensed it. And to me, I'm like, you know what? Live your truth, sis. Do I think he's pansexual? Look, if that's what he said he is, we'll go along with it. However, I feel like that's just a more PC term of bisexual. Because to me, it's just like, you could be attracted to somebody regardless of gender. I feel like bisexual is the same thing as pansexual. Like, you can be bisexual if you're in love with a male or a female. So if you like somebody who's non-binary or trans or whatever, you're attracted to them people. Like, why do we have to come up with Child, don't get me started with all these damn different pronouns and different names we gotta call each other and shit. It's just like, you like who you like, you love who you love. I'm not, congratulations on being pansexual. I kind of sense that you was literally into dudes and girls and this, that, and the third, and I totally get it. Like, you're pansexual, I guess, is a more PC term because, you're somebody who's working in Hollywood, and bisexual, as quiet as it's kept, it's kind of looked down upon in our society, in gay society, in society, it seems like as a whole. People look at bisexual as basically, oh, you just a step away from being gay. And we've heard those topics. But, sidebar. I also love the fact that in red, white, and royal blue, the son of the president, he identifies as bisexual. So it's good in a way to see that bisexuality and bisexual characters are getting recognition, because a lot of times, people kind of do look down upon bisexuals or kind of thumb their nose up at that because people don't believe that you could be attracted to men and women. I don't know why y'all don't think they can. I feel like I've said so many times, sexuality and gender identity it fluctuates. It's a whole spectrum. Like, it's not black and white. People can like and be into all different things. And so we have to just learn as human beings to be so open-minded and get out of that whole, closed box of, religion and all that crap and what they put on us. So congratulations to Wayne. Live your life, girl. And I believe if I'm not mistaken, he's about to be in The Wiz on Broadway, the one with Deborah Cox that I'm trying to get tickets to. That comes out in 2024, but I did hear that they're going to be traveling around before it initially, sets up shop on Broadway for, how long they're going to keep them. Now, speaking of people reflecting on sexuality and things, let's talk about will.i.am. So, will.i.am says he has no shame in embracing his feminine side. Now, the Black Eyed Peas frontman, who's 48, opened up about not acting in accordance with traditional gender roles on the July 31st episode of The Diary of CEO, saying, "Coming of age, I didn't have a man in my life or a father in my life to guide me through that. My mom did that, which probably made me even ultra feminine, which I have no shame in being super feminine." As a result, a lot of people would ask if the pumping musician, Pump It Up was actually Joe Budden. The pumping musician, if he was gay growing up. He says, "I remember in the 90s, we didn't have the support in the LGBT community like we do now. So growing up in the 90s, people were like, 'Are you gay?' A lot of people would question if I was gay because I was feminine. I'm still feminine, noted will.i.am. I sit where I sit, I act the way I act. My mannerisms are my mom's. I'm strong with my femininity. I think it's my superpower. When you know who you are, when you love who you are, how you vibe, that's what it's about. I like girls," the musician added. "I never was attracted to men. I'm attracted to females, but I'm feminine." And in a way, I'm kind of, you know what, glad that he spoke about that. And basically, the discussion of his femininity stemmed from sharing how he felt a distortion at the age of 18, calling it the hardest path in my life. The time ultimately inspired him to produce the 2019 song "Be Nice" with the Black Eyed Peas, which features Snoop Dogg on the track, saying, "There's nothing wrong with being emotional. When you're creative, you're always sensitive. You're hypersensitive. That's a part of creativity. You feel too much, and I feel too much. I empathize hardcore. I'm the guy in the elevator that talks to strangers," as he recalled times when he had a 30-minute conversation with random people. It says, "I don't even want to ignore folks that I can shed light on, or they can shed light to me for no little nuggets that you give or receive." And I feel like also when you speak to regular people, it opens you up to be like, you know what? I got an idea for a song or this, that, and the other. So there's nothing wrong with being hypersensitive and hyper emotional. I think a lot of times because men are told from such a young age that you don't cry. What are you, a faggot? Or whatever the case is, like girls cry, boys don't cry. And then that's why they wind up, hardened and lacking emotion and angry and lashing out physically, violating people, breaking things, and all this other stuff. Because I remember when I was a kid, I used to hold in a lot of my emotions and this that, and the other. And I used to lash out and stuff. Now, bitch, I watch a movie and I'm literally crying. I can watch a performance of somebody on a show and I'm like, I just cry randomly now. I guess probably because I'm older. So I just be open with my emotions. But my mother's always been encouraging in regards of, it's okay to cry, let out your emotions, be into your feelings. Like she's never really told me and my siblings to hold back our emotions and stuff. So I've always been as a Virgo, I keep a lot of my emotions and stuff to myself and I keep it in private. But there'll be times when it pertains to specific conversations, I will bring it up and talk about it on here. But as far as will.i.am goes, I feel like, it's cool that I feel like that he shared this. And I felt like it was great to talk about because I feel like too many times in the world, I feel like men are not allowed to be emotional and are not allowed to show that side of themselves because if you show any ounce of sensitivity, if you show yourself as feminine, and there are feminine straight guys. I know quite a few guys that have what would be deemed as feminine qualities, but they're just very sensitive and in tune with their emotions and this, that, and the third. Now, I don't know if having a man or father figure in your life would have made you any less feminine, because I feel like your emotions are your emotions. Because there could be situations where there are people who grew up in a two-family household and they come out feminine, whether they're gay or whether they're straight. So there are gay guys who have been like, I had a mom and a dad. My dad was like hardcore military. Like we've heard the stories. My dad was in the military and he was very much hyper masculine, this, that, and the third. And here I came out, a big old sissy, like I'm as femme as Billy Porter and Wayman from A Low Down Dirty Shame combined. So I don't think it matters whether or not. I mean, yeah, you could have probably had a father figure in your life that would showed you what it's like to be a man, and show you all those things, which is what my dad did. And my father is very much blue collar. Well, he's a white collar worker, but he's very much hands on, where he'll fix things with the house. Me, I'm hiring somebody to fix shit because I'm lazy. I don't have that gene, but I do like but I am fascinated with learning like different things on construction, this, that, and third. But don't ask me to do no construction. Although I did do some type of construction stuff when I was in the circus, because we had to put them damn tents up in between. But that was what we made the real coin. That's a whole other conversation. But anyway, so kudos to will.i.am for telling this, and I feel like more men need to be open with their feelings, and I feel like if many more men were more in tune with their feminine side and stuff, they could be more attentive and respectful to women. So, because there's so much disrespect of women going around in this, that, and the third. So, the more guys that are more in tune with their feminine side, I feel like those are the ones that'll be more respectful towards the women out here. Yeah, those old stereotypes. Thought they were gay for being well groomed. Yeah, we did have a lot of those. Okay, so there's a rumor. Let's go on to the next topic. So there's a rumor going around. Okay, so I have a question. Remember back in the day when The View used to have God Day Friday? And they used to have like all the men come on The View that would kind of have their different opinions, and they would kind of like, because the women are always saying something to me sometimes where it does come off a little anti-male at times, or man bashing, but then they would have the guys come on every now and again and really, go in and let it have. Well, there's a rumor going around that Don Lemon is trying to secure himself a seat at the View table. This is according to Radar Online, by the way. Now, dump CNN diva, shade, Don Lemon is allegedly trying to woo his way into becoming the first male co-host of The View, but sources said the ladies of the show are a hard sell. This is what Radar Online has learned. The 57-year-old dropped anchor hosted a lavish party at his Long Island mansion for The View's liberal loudmouth. Okay, who wrote this? A damn conservative. Sunny Hostin, to celebrate her new novel, Summer on Sag Harbor, and spies said he spent the whole time buttering her up. Don was all over Sunny, a source spilled to the National Enquirer. He wants to make sure she knew he was responsible for every detail of the party. One mole told the outlet that the ex-newsman unleashed gushing praise for the book whenever Sunny was within earshot, and also cuddled up to Joy Behar for photos. But sources said Lemon has soured on former TV chat queen Wendy Williams, Odor, now that she no longer has a show, and didn't bother to invite her to the bash. Meanwhile, desperate Don is allegedly burning up the phone lines with calls to Whoopi Goldberg about nabbing a guest spot on the Gabfest, hinting that he would be a great guest and an even better co-host. Don's pushing himself with all of the women on the show, the source claimed, but word is The View's liberal ladies have their reservations about divisive Don because he's been accused of spewing verbal abuse at a former female co-anchor, which he denied. But he also came under fire for declaring 51-year-old Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley isn't in her... Well, child, he had every right to read that bitch. Still, Don is unperturbed, allegedly citing the example of actor Jerry O'Connell, whose turn as a co-host on The Talk was widely hailed for reviving interest in the daytime show after Sharon Osbourne's sudden scandalous departure in 2021. Don is trying to convince the ladies that all the show needs is a guy voice, claimed the source, but he's already proven he doesn't play well with others. They're not quite ready to welcome him with open arms, no matter how many parties he throws. Now, Radar Online has reached out to Lemon's rep for comment. As Radar Online reported, Lemon was fired from CNN in April after being accused of having a history of misogynistic and diva-like behavior in the newsroom. Okay, so here's what I got to say about that. Now, I love Don, but I feel like the show is what it is for a reason. Now, The Talk did initially start... Look, The Talk, The Real, all those shows, we all know were a ripoff of The View. The View was the original concept. Nobody was doing panel shows until The View came on TV in, 97? So, The View is what it is, and it needs to stay as it is. Do I think that they need to bring a guy on the show to sort things out? First of all, they got enough codes. They got like 6 on there. And I like the dynamic the way it is. It works for me. But, the talk has, I believe, 2 males on there, right? Besides Jerry O'Connell. I don't remember who the other one was because, quite as it's kept, I don't really watch the talk. So they have a dynamic that apparently works for that show, and they figured it out and it works. The fact that they switched it up and had like 2 guys and 3 women, I believe. Now, here's the thing. I did say that what they need to do, and I don't know why they haven't thought about this. I was like, why don't they just create a gay version of The View? Someone said, oh, it shouldn't be a gay version of The View. They should just do a male version of The View and then just have a mixture. Because once upon a time, if y'all remember, there was a View type show with men that they had back in the day. It was with the late Dick Clark. Danny Bonaducci was a part of it, and Mario Lopez. I heard there was some black dude that was on there that was a doctor, but he was boring. I don't remember who it was, but they had 2 other people on the show besides, them. But I just remember Danny Bonaducci, Dick Clark, and Mario Lopez. The fact of the matter was that chemistry with them just didn't work. They were looking to try to find a way to capitalize on The View, and the show was quickly canceled. Now, I do believe that they could come out with they could probably start over and bring a male version. Child, why do I have a feeling that the one with the fucked up hairline, Stephen A. Smith, would want to try for that damn show if they decided to do a male version of The View. I would say, okay, y'all could mix it up and have like gay and straight, but I would really think that it would be way more entertaining to just have 5 queer people on there. I even thought, okay, throw in, a gay conservative, as we like to call a log cabin Republican. And then you can have a Don Lemon on there. You could put like, I don't know who else, but I know I would want to audition and be a part of that show. Yeah, put me on the panel, bitch. So I was like, you give me Don Lemon, a trans woman. I thought maybe Laverne Cox, but she might be a little too, I need somebody a little rough around the edges that's not afraid to get a little, slick with the mouth, within reason. That could walk the tightrope and kind of teeter on the edge, but not really. I don't know if Laverne Cox would even be willing to go there. I know maybe Angelica Ross would probably be a little more, direct and to the point. But I'm like, it would be cool to see if they came out with like a gay version. I mean, would there be an audience for a gay version of The View and you had like one trans woman or something on the show? I don't know. But I feel like there could be daytime needs a little more edge. It needs to be shaken up. Y'all got Kelly Clarkson boring ass with her talk show, Jennifer Hudson boring ass with her talk show. You got Tamara Hall moving at 2:00 when she come back. They got Sherry Shepherd boring ass talk show, but it's like talk shows are boring now. Like I don't really watch Kelly Ripa's just hanging on by a thread with that show. I don't know why that shit's still on. The chemistry on that show was horrible. First of all, she fucking Mark Consuelos, and they have no chemistry on. How do you not have chemistry with the man you having sex with, or you been married to over 2 decades? Like I just don't get that tea. But stranger things have happened in Hollywood, I guess. But good luck, Don. Do I believe this story? I'm calling cap on this. I don't know if I necessarily believe that Don Lemon is trying hard to woo a spot on The View, because quite as kept, I do not see The View even trying to change up their format. They're going to keep it a show strictly about women with different points of view. I kind of wish they would judge it up a little bit and not make it so damn political. But all they want to do is talk about that kook head Donald Trump. But whatever. Good luck, Dawn. I'm sure you will find a job wherever you need to go. But or you'll find a job somewhere doing something. But The View, no. They got enough people on there. Robert says we need Jenny Jones, Sally Jesse, Jerry Springer, Oprah Winfrey. I feel like that type of television, that was lightning in a bottle. That was the 90s. I don't see that type of thing coming back. People are too sensitive now. Jerry Springer and the way they did, like back in the day when we used to watch shows like Jenny Jones and Jerry Springer and Ricky Lake and this and other, we weren't used to seeing trailer trash exposed on TV or hood rats or ghetto people acting ghetto. Because I remember I had classmates that one of my classmates did an episode of Ricky Lake fighting over her man, baby mama drama, all that. One of my classmates was on the Ricky Lake show, and I've been on the Ricky Lake show. I sat in the audience. So you know, that type of TV, I can't see that making a comeback because I don't really feel like there's an audience for that. That was lightning in a bottle. That was around the time before cable was what it was, streaming services or other stuff. So that was appointment TV. I don't feel like that can work in this climate, especially with everybody being so damn sensitive whenever you say things. And that was also our first foray into like seeing, you know, drag queens and trans people and the way trans people were treated on shows like you know, Jerry Springer and stuff. It would be considered transphobic today. So I can't see that genre of television coming back, especially in this climate. All right, so what is the next topic? Oh, so apparently, wait, why did I open up? I opened up Tory Lanez in this topic, but I don't even think that's part of the docket. Running kid, because that motherfucker going to jail for 10 years as he should. But we're supposed to talk about Kanye West apparently not wanting to wash his ass. So apparently, word is circulating through Hollywood that Kanye is planning a fashion comeback. So apparently they said All the Lights rapper hygiene is so bad his own wife can barely stand the smell of him. Now this is from The Sun, so we're just gonna have a little fun with this. Kanye has been seen wearing layers, heavy bomber jackets, and hooded masks that cover his face during his trip to Italy with Bianca, who's 28. And ain't it hot out? An insider told Radar that he's covering up more because he has reportedly put on weight. He wears these outfits partly because he genuinely believes they showcase his fashion genius and forward thinking, but it's also to cover up him having gained a little weight. They added, it's a serious stench when the layers come off and he's dripping in sweat head to toe, especially as he's not big on showering, and poor Bianca's nostrils are on the receiving end. Now, last month, Kanye was spotted wearing several layers, loose pants, a head wrap, and tight spandex over his feet. He's got to be cooking under those layers, the source said. His BO is something awful since he rarely uses deodorant. Oh, that is so gross. In the beginning, Kanye's mode of dressing was an enigma. Now it's just a stink, a source told the National Enquirer. They added that Kanye's ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, was also less than impressed with the Donda rapper's reported lax hygiene. Kim got used to the smell, but only after years of First of all, I don't give a fuck who you are. You get in your tub and you washing that ass, because you are not fucking me. But then again, has Kim ever turned down dick? So I wouldn't be surprised. And you know, Kim filed for divorce in 2021 after nearly 7 years of marriage. So she put up with this shit with having 4 kids and 7 years of marriage. You put up with his smell? You put up with his stench? So, yeah, I find that this is disgusting. And the funny thing is, you know what? I looked at not videos, but I would look at pictures of Kanye and this and the other, and he always to me looked like he smells foul. So I'm not surprised by this story. And I remember somebody telling me before I even read the article that they were saying that Kanye has a stench to him. And you wear all that black in the summertime and you fat. And I was like, well, if he's so insecure about his weight and he has all this money, why don't he get himself a trainer, a nutritionist, and work on getting fit? Or why don't he also just, you know, get liposuction? And they said, well, his mother Donda had surgery and she died under the knife and this and the third. And I'm like, but he said, didn't he say in an interview back in the day, because, you know, Kanye always run off with the damn mouth, didn't he say that he had went under the knife and got liposuction once because I think he blamed it on Rob or something or another? He had said something and that was his reason for getting liposuction. But you're walking around with weird tights on and layers of clothes and you hot and all that other shit in the summertime, and black definitely does draw heat, even though it's supposed to look like it's slimming. And then they talk about he don't wear deodorant. I mean, I can understand, like, there are people out there who don't wear deodorant, because I heard that Matthew McConaughey don't wear deodorant, but I never heard that Matthew McConaughey stink. So there's some people that don't wear deodorant, but they found way they were saying like a lot of that stench, that smell or whatever, can come from a bad diet. So certain things you eating, like the smell will come out in other places, and it could be that too, depending on what he's eating or whatever. So if you want to run around not wearing deodorant, but you want to be around stinking, maybe you need to consult a doctor to figure out like a nutritionist on how you can prevent funk from coming out of certain places, or just wash your ass. How about that? I don't understand people who have so much access and so much money and this and the third. Y'all just be afraid of soap and damn water. Cause I be damn. First of all, I'm not giving nobody that smell like a swamp ass. Not at all. So good luck to Bianca, because I don't feel like she's going anywhere. Look, she's getting so much, she's benefiting so much from being married to that man. She's gonna put up with that smell. At the end of the day, Kim is doing her. She don't really need Kanye. She's still got a lot going for her, whether or not she's married to that man. So anyway. So let's move on because I'm tired of talking about that heifer. So let's talk about Bethany Frankel. So Bethany's fight to get reality stars unionized got a boost of support from SAG-AFTRA. Now, SAG-AFTRA, which covers the host, but not the contestants on reality TV competition shows, said today that working towards the protection of the reality performers in an effort to end the exploitative practices that have developed in this area and to engage in a new path to union coverage. We are tired of the studios. The hell was that? But we are tired of the studios and production companies trying to circumvent the union in order to exploit the talent that they rely on to make their product. The announcement comes after Bethany Frankel, a former star of the Real Housewives of New York City, suggested that the reality performers should go on strike in order to win residuals for the work and to combat abuses in the workplace. Reality show hosts, but not contestants, are covered by the Guild's network code, which is not part of the strike against films and scripted TV shows. Why isn't reality TV on strike? Frankel said in a recent TikTok video. And she said a whole bunch of things. But before we do have some clips to kind of wrap all of this up. We had a little production meeting before we did the show. So I was like, let me remember. Because I always get reminded. But anyway, so yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll that clip and then we will, the plethora of clips. Oh, I got to hold on. So we have a couple of clips, and then once all of that is situated, then we will come back. Okay, so basically what she said was, why isn't reality TV on strike? I got paid $72.50 for my first season on reality TV, and people are still watching those episodes. Reality stars, she says, are the stepchildren, the losers, the mules, the pack horses, the ones that the entertainment industry is going to rely on right now to carry the water, to do the heavy lifting. Then real stars, real A-list Hollywood is on strike. And what people need to realize is the fact that I've always said that it's like, why does the big name stars or the actors, they get mad at the reality stars for going out here and doing all this work and getting on TV? And it's like, why wouldn't they? First of all, they don't understand how the industry works. They're just so happy to get put on, to be on TV, and they feel like this is the launching pad for me to become famous and to make money and this and the third. And somebody did point out to me that they don't see this union really going through because they have people out here who are going to have this crab in the barrel mentality, like Candy Burris, who refuses, and we're going to get on her in a second, after we, is going to join in and be like, you know what, I'm not going to join no union, because it's like they want to be able to have a good rapport with the networks, and they want to make all this money and all this other stuff. So there's always going to be somebody who comes up behind and they'll be like, no, I'm not doing that for $7,000. You need to pay me more than that because I'm worth more than $7,000. But there'll be that one person underneath that person, but I'll do it. So they don't feel like that the reality TV people will be in unison and want to come together with everybody, unlike the union workers. But I'm like, okay, well, if they don't want to join, they don't have to join. But those who want to come and be a part of it, they can. But if you want to sit there, be a non-union worker and be worked like a slave, you're not protected by the union, then you will be taken advantage of, while the union workers won't have to work as hard. SAG will let reality show contestants into the union, however, if they transition to acting. Yeah, and that's usually what the case is, because I think Nene Leakes said that she is a part of SAG, and I think she became a part of SAG once she became an actor. Once she started doing the stuff with Ryan Murphy, she became a union worker. So I think that's usually when it happens, is the fact that reality stars aren't a part of the SAG union. They don't become part of SAG until you get an acting gig or something or another. Then you could become part of the union, and then you pay the dues and all that other stuff. But I thought, okay, not them being part of SAG, but why isn't there a separate union from reality TV, like specifically for reality TV stars? That's what I thought. I thought there was just going to be, you have SAG-AFTRA, which is for the actors, and then you have a separate union, I don't know what they're going to call it, that'll just be for non, actor people who aren't professional actors, that just do like improvised television. So that's what I literally thought what it was that was going to be the situation that was going on. So I should point out that it said, building on Frankel's union aims, the list of such mistreatment that Freeman, Brian Freeman, the attorney, lays out includes deliberate attempts to manufacture mental instability by applying cast members with alcohol while depriving them of food and sleep, denying mental health treatment to cast members displaying obvious and alarming signs of mental deterioration, exploiting minors for uncompensated and sometimes long-term appearances on NBC reality TV shows, distributing and or condoning the distribution of non-consensual pornography, covering up acts of sexual violence, and refusing to allow cast members the freedom to leave their shows even under dire circumstances. So those are all the charges that are going to be brought. Well, those are all the accusations that a lot of the reality stars have been saying has been going on behind the scenes at NBC. And I did see some people trying to throw shade at Bethany, but they were doing all that on Watch What Happens Damn Live because they wanted all that damn attention for, I guess, they up in there trying to kiss Miss Cohen ass, but whatever. Let's play this clip and then we'll come back with the rest of the show.
Hollywood is on strike. Entertainers are fighting for residuals and no one will promote anything. Why isn't reality TV on strike? I got paid $7,250 for my first season of reality TV and people are still watching those episodes. We've always been the losers, the I'm up here, you're down here to the actresses and actors. During the last writer's strike, we're providing all the entertainment, and that's when really the gold rush of reality TV started. So I myself have generated millions and millions of dollars in advertising and online impressions being on reality TV and have never made a single residual. So either I'm missing something or we're getting screwed too. People on The Hills and The Bachelor and Bachelorette get paid peanuts to do what they do, and people can still watch those episodes from years gone by. Anyone shooting a Bravo show should not be shooting until they get paid residuals for all the other episodes that they've ever done, or those episodes should be taken down. Reality stars should go on strike. The Hills, people still watch The Hills today, and they don't make a goddamn dollar, and they were entirely exploited, getting ratings that network television doesn't get. I spoke to Caitlin Bristow. Her episodes were getting 6 million viewers. Network television doesn't get that. In many cases, in most cases, streaming television doesn't get that. It's complete and total bullshit. And I'm going to get into this because it just occurred to me. Everyone is talking about actors. We don't get paid shit.
And as Roro said, she using her Karen powers for good. And I know some people's like, well, Nene been saying the same thing. Well, I know I don't listen to her because nobody listens to black women. That's why. Sometimes you got to be a white woman in power to be heard. Black people say shit, and the first thing they do is y'all being loud, you're being problematic, you're causing trouble, this, that, and the third. Unfortunately, black women are not heard and listened to. So if it takes this Karen to get shit done, I'm here for it. I know people saying she got ulterior motives. So, but if this is going to get people, more money than they have a right to earn, then I don't care how the coin get spread out or how people get what they need to get, as long as it gets done. So let's talk about this flip-flopping ass bitch, Candy Burris. So now she opening up on why she won't be joining Bethany in her fight to get reality stars to join a union. She said, I myself would not be a part of that. It wouldn't make any sense for me to be a part of that. This is what she told Entertainment Tonight on Wednesday. To me, if I'm working with somebody and I feel like they not doing something that they should be doing, I address it right then. I don't believe that, but we'll go along with what she says. Now, the Real Housewives of Atlanta mainstay said she believes reality stars should not wait for after to air their grievances. Yeah, because she loves to let us know how she feels every time that, an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta that nobody's watching is being said, so that way she could go on that stupid ass speak on it and just spill tea. She also said, you are not going to check with them no more and then come back and try to go for their throat. That's just how I feel, she said, adding that she always reached out to the network to address any issues she may have had. Amid the ongoing SAG-AFTRA and writer's strike, Frankel issued a call to arms in July for reality stars to join the actors' strike. I myself have generated millions and millions of dollars in advertisement and online impressions doing being a reality TV and have never made a single residual, the former Real Housewives of New York City star 52 explained in a video. So either I'm missing something or we're getting screwed too. Earlier this month, an anonymous group of reality stars sent a legal letter to NBC Universal brass over their alleged depraved treatment and use of revenge porn. Now, legal eagles Mark Garagos and Brian Freeman, who confirmed that they were retained by Frankel in an earlier announcement, also claimed in their letter that NBC and Bravo covered up acts of sexual violence. Please be advised that the day of reckoning has arrived, this statement concluded. In response, an NBC Universal spokesperson told in a statement to Page 6 that the company was committed to maintaining a safe and respectful workplace for cast and crew on our reality shows. At the outset, we require our third-party production partners to have an appropriate workplace policies and training in place. If complaints are brought to our attention, we work with our production partners to ensure that timely, appropriate action is or has been taken, including investigations, medical and or psychological support, and other remedial action that may be warranted, such as personal changes. So it goes on and on and on. And she says that she doesn't want to be a part of this situation. And I'm like, you know what? You have every right to not want to be a part of Bethany's union. That is your prerogative. But if your ass winds up getting fired, sis, which word on the street is you are on thin ice because you ain't been really bringing what needs to be brought this season. Quiet as it's kept, a lot of y'all have not been bringing what needs to be brought. I feel like the only one who's really been showing up to work and showing out is Marlo. She's working every bit of that damn peach. But at the end of the day, what I'm looking at with Candy is like Victor says, and he was going to literally take the words out of my mouth. She's looking out for herself. She's making the most money on the Real Housewives. She has 50,000 other damn side projects that she's working on. I don't know if she's still doing a shot. I know she's about to produce The Wiz that's about to be on Broadway. I brought The Wiz earlier with Wayne Brady. She is one of the producers that's going to be a part of The Wiz on Broadway. So that's another check. So Bethany has nothing to lose. We'll go with Bethany. Well, since I brought Bethany up, we'll just go with it. Bethany has nothing to lose in this situation. Candy is trying to keep good rapport with Bravo and NBC Universal because she probably benefits. Well, I won't say probably, she does. She benefits wholeheartedly from the network until they have no more use for her, and then we'll see how long this lasts. Because she doesn't want to rock the boat and make things look bad, especially when she just shot the reunion. A lot of them, the contracts haven't gone out yet in regards to who's going to be coming back for the next season. So Candy is playing strategic. That's the way I look at it. It's like she's literally trying to do what she can to save her job so she can come back next year on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But girl, if you do come back on the show, you need to talk about a whole lot more than how many damn or your accolades and your gigs and how many jobs you got, how many checks you got coming in, or how many things you're working on. Like, I don't want to keep hearing about Don Juan, what I got on the schedule today. Like, we don't need to know about that. We tired of hearing about your fucking jobs. We know you're one of the hardest working chicks out here in the game. But as doing a reality show, if y'all gonna keep coming on this show and doing stuff, not me, girl. Okay, Funky Dineva. But whatever. Look, if she don't want to be a part of the shit, then she don't have to be. It's like, Candy, you can go off and continue to do what you do because you make your little coins, whatever. So who knows? Maybe at this point, and I really, what? Now I think about it, I feel like she does not need this show no more. She really don't need to be a part of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like Real Housewives of Atlanta is basically just like this tool that she uses to just remind everybody of all the gigs she got. But for the most part, I don't feel like she needs Real Housewives. I feel like she's outgrown the show. She's overstayed her welcome, but she's just gonna be on there. I mean, quiet as it's kept, she is one of the longest running housewives on there. She's been on the show since season 2. Nene's gone, Kim's gone, all the original housewives are gone. Sheree, is back and forth when she comes on the show. So she's not really like the one who's been on the longest because she will come on, spend a couple of years, they fire her, a couple of years off, they bring her back, fire her again, and then they bring her back. So she, they off and on with her. And Sheree, because she needs the damn check to pay for the chateau, she gonna keep showing up. So it is what it is. So anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk Sutton Strack is throwing a little shade. That was a little more Housewives news, but we already in 2 hours in. So let's take this break and we're gonna come back with the final, I guess, 30 or 45 or an hour. Sutton Strack is throwing shade at Erica Jane because Erica Jane says she lost weight from menopause. Girl, I did not know Ozempic was a part of being menopausal, but we'll go along with it. Also, we're gonna talk about this whole drama that's going on with Kylie Minogue's Vegas residency because tickets went on sale earlier this week. Gay pandemonium arose, and there was some drama that happened. Plus, we got some Billy Porter tea regarding he having to be one of the. He came out and said he has to sell his home amid the Hollywood strikes because he's not working, and also he went in on Harry Styles with the whole Vogue cover and called her in Wintour. So we got to talk about that. Also, Adam Lambert is dragging homophobic trolls targeting his boyfriend Oliver Gleese, and then we got to get into this conversation about Pearl, who has been put under fire for I guess promoting blackface in her drag. She has been accused of it. So Silky Nutmeg Ganache went in on her, the Vixen went in on her, and then her and Aquaria started fighting. So the girls is fighting out here in the world of Drag Race. So we're gonna come back and talk about all those things after we take this little gay break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. My opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Bitches that wanna learn. You ready?
So I was an escort in my late 20s, just because I was, and then after the bar, I just decided I'm good at that, and I went back on and I filled out a profile, and all of a sudden, I was making like in one night what I was making in like 2 weeks, in general, and that just sort of like slowly, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? That's gonna sort of like equate that, especially being in like my 40s. I need to catch up. I need to like start putting some money away. I need to start thinking about things, and I wasn't gonna do that going back to school and getting my master's degree in education for the New York City, Department of Education. I wasn't gonna.
How look? You think you gay? Only wanted to find out. Hey, little daddy.
Hey, bro, I don't swing that way, bro.
Boy, calm down. We just trying to find out if you were gay with your dirty ass ethicas.
Hey, y'all being too disrespectful. I ain't gay, so stop with all that.
We just making sure, because it's 2023. But you have a good one.
Weirdos.
Oh, got another one.
What's your favorite curse word, motherfucker? I just think it's so good. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, it's so good. You can do a comedy. I can't believe that tired ass motherfucker. You can do it sad. Motherfucker. Oh my God. You can do dramatic. That motherfucker. You can do it so many ways. You can even do it like what is it? What's the clown man in all the Marvel DC comics?
Oh, what's the best zodiac sign in bed?
Virgo, duh.
I'm a Virgo. What are you?
Virgo. The details, baby. The details. Everything.
He knows what he's talking about. Best zodiac sign in bed.
Gemini.
Why?
Split personalities. Go both ways, honey.
You go both ways?
It's verse, for sure.
Turn around.
No.
What's it giving? We need to know.
I'm here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Oh. That was funny. And shout out to you posting that Alex Tika's video, because I had just seen one that he did recently. There's a YouTuber by the name of Masculine Jason who also does, in the words of Nico Aesthetics, super happy fun time. He does them also, but he also has a show called Porn Star Confession. We interviews everybody from Shishi LaRue and on down. And he recently did, I believe, a 2-hour interview with Alex Tikas that was really good. He went further into detail with the DILFs and all the other stuff too. I'm like, well, bitch, you didn't reveal some of this stuff with me. But nevertheless, and I wrote that in the comments too. I was like, oh, I interviewed Alex on my show a couple months ago. He was a sweetheart, but I caught him, and at the time of when he was on For the Love of DILFs, and then he quit the show. But he also said on that interview, he was like, not my interview, but Matthew and Jason's interview, so definitely try. Look at me cross promote other people. See, I'm not a hater. Somewhat. But he said that he regrets that maybe he should have really taken the time to really think it through. He wouldn't have quit doing For the Love of DILFs, but he was going through a lot at the time, and he said that them living up in the house and everybody was snoring. There was a whole bunch of other stuff going on. It was a good interview because he broke it on down with a lot of stuff that he was, some of the same conversations. But anyway. Oh, yeah. So, production, we're going to have a conversation with that off camera. So that interview, that show is going to have to get moved to a later time. So there was something that I was planning on doing next week, but with a special. Okay, so for those of you who watch the show, we used to do a show called Drinks and Drag. I don't know what happened with it. I'm still hopeful that we could bring the show back, but I don't know. Everybody's always doing their own thing. I'm doing my show, and Lindsay and Remy have their podcast that they do. Lindsay is also bringing back Beat Face sometime in September, and he asked me to come on and do an episode this and a third. And I was like, well, bitch, when you coming on doing my damn show? He was like, well, you never invited me. So the plan was he was going to come on next Thursday. Come to find out, he was like, maybe we should move the show closer to when he does his show. So let me know what day is good for you. I'm like, sis, first of all, you can't be asking me when is a good time for me when I don't know when you plan on bringing your show back. He wants to do the promos and stuff to kind of hype up the fact that we're going to be doing a show together with B-Face, and then I'm doing his show and he's doing my show and blah, blah, blah. So we're working all of that out right now. So what I was going to do was have a conversation with production off camera, which we will do when the show is done, about what day we should work on out. But I feel like you need to let me know when you bring back Beat Face so we can work the schedule around that. So when you bring your show back in September, then we can work on doing a show before you launch your show. Because here's the thing, Labor Day weekend, we're not doing a show because my birthday falls on a Saturday. So, September 2nd, I'm not doing a show that day. I plan on getting lit. But anyway, so yeah, that's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that's going on. And so no, those of you who are still watching, y'all want me to start interviewing more porn stars? Like I have some ideas. Me, I love interviewing like porn stars, drag people in our community. Everybody wants to look for like they want to Beyonce or something. I'm like, I find porn stars, I find drag queens, I find go-go dancers, I find people within our community way more entertaining. And I have some ideas on people I want to hit up and have conversations with. But if y'all want to see me do interviews and stuff, let me know if y'all want to see me do that more in the future. Like my Alex Tika's interview. And I've realized from my mistakes that what I should do is just do a specific interview, a specific show catering to that interview, and not put any other bells and whistles up in there, because it takes away from, I feel like, us taking a lot of time to really get into that specific person and having a conversation with them. So it's just, if I do interviews, this is going to be specifically the interview. But anyway, let's move on and get into the show, because we got like 5 more topics to do. So sudden strike of side-eye and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erica James claims that her weight loss is due to menopause. This is according to page 6. So she said, I've been through the menopause, but I don't look like that. But okay, the 51-year-old told Us Weekly on Thursday, visibly rolling her eyes. Strack did, however, go on to praise her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills co-star Slim Down. Good Lord, the party planner gush. I need to do whatever she's doing. Ozempic. Strack shade comes 1 week after Jane 52 alleged to Watch What Happens Live viewers that she shed pounds hormonally, not Ozempically. When host Andy Cohen said that the Pretty Mess singer looked like a whisper of herself, Jane claimed she took it all down while going through menopause. She doubled down when fellow guest Jackie Hoffman questioned anyone actually losing weight on menopause. Jane replied, I went to the doctor and I said, get it off me. Wait, so you went to the doctor and said, get it off you? That ain't menopause, bitch. That is you either going to the doctor and him sucking it out of you, or you using Ozempic. I choose to believe that you are doing Ozempic. So if Miss Thing is going to sit up in here and spoon feed y'all that lot, quiet as it's kept, a lot of the housewives are out here doing Ozempic. That is the tea. That's the alleged tea that's going on from her, Kyle Richards, so many other girls. They even said Cynthia Bailey was doing it at one point. But Cynthia denied it. But yeah, there's a lot of people in the housewives world and all that stuff that's been using this Ozempic. First of all, that's a diabetic medication. I don't know why a lot of y'all are sitting out here using medication used for people who are diabetic, and y'all using it as a dietary supplement, because Hollywood is so fixated on weight loss and all this other stuff. So I choose to believe that Erica is full of shit, and I live for the fact that, some people be hating on Sutton. I love Sutton because Sutton is ready to get down to dirt and call a lot of these fake ass Beverly Hills women out on their bullshit. So I love the fact that we have somebody on the show that's willing to be like, I don't go toe to toe with these hoes. Y'all want to sit here and be fake and this and the third? I'm gonna call your ass out. I will lose weight naturally, not shooting myself up with Ozempic. Anyway, good luck with you in Vegas, Miss Thing. speaking of Vegas, we do have some tea on Kylie Minogue coming up. So, speaking of which, we'll get into that in a second. But I just want to address the comments. So Roro says yes, and Victor says yes. I would love to see you interview more people. Yeah, we're definitely gonna so definitely I will be looking into that. I will be hitting some people up. So when we come back in the fall, I'll definitely be doing more interviews. It's like it's Rock say, I lie, don't care who tell it. A lie, don't care who tell it. I believe it. It's like, yeah, a lot of these people in Hollywood lie. Now, speaking of residencies in Vegas, let's get into this story about Kylie Minogue. So on Wednesday morning, tickets went on sale for Kylie Minogue's highly anticipated Las Vegas residency at the Venetian Resort's brand new venue, Voltaire. And I got some thoughts. Now, while I'm glad that Kylie is finally getting to showcase her inner showgirl for an American audience and the gays having a meltdown trying to snag tickets, the site actually crashed from all the traffic, by the way. The way they're going about presenting the international pop icon isn't sitting right with me. Now, there were a couple of memes that I saw that people were posting on social media talking about how they were fighting for their life to get Kylie tickets right now. Another person, when they show like the train trying to go through the little hole, which we always use as our little gay gif when we talking about trying to fit a penis to a small hole. Gay trying to get tickets to a 10-show, 1,000 seat capacity Kylie Minogue show. So that was one of the memes that they used. Another one was raise your hand if you've been personally victimized buying a Kylie Minogue ticket. And they showed like the whole room raised their head. This is actually one of the scenes of Mean Girls that they showed. Another one wrote Messica Simpson. That is such a hilarious name. Whoever designed the Kylie residency concept, including the seating chart, ticket options, dates, and even the promotional poster, needs to burn in hell immediately. But so yeah, those were some of the memes. But then here's the thing. So first, just be aware that the Voltaire only holds 1,000 seats. Second, she's only doing 10 shows. Third, you have to be 21 and older to see her show, which means if Kylie has younger fans, you're not going to be able to experience the Impossible Princess live. There's a strict dress code upon arrival, and the best seats in the house go for $2,000 with general admission. Standing room only, which is basically general admission, priced at $200. So if you go for the general admission, it's $200 in the standing room. If you go for the big package or whatever, it's $2,000. And it also says the package includes a 2-night stay in a suite at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas, an exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of Voltaire, a $200 dining credit for select restaurants at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas airport arrival and departure transfers, special commemorative gifts, a reserved table at Voltaire to see Kylie Minogue. And you see the seating. The seating is very much set up like big booths of chairs, and it looks very intimate. But here's the thing. To me, that's not a Kylie Minogue show. Like, that's not what she does. She doesn't do like these. She's not like one of those. She's not a cabaret singer. I mean, she does provide a little cabaret in her shows and this and that, but she's like, Kylie Minogue is on the same level of a Madonna in regards of like the spectacle and the type of show that they put on. But I did hear, because, Robert has been in the DMs back and forth, because, we belong to this group called Rebel Hearts. And we don't just only talk about Madonna stuff in the group. It's a lot of, just all things pop culture. So one of the things he was breaking down in, upon further research and some of the stuff he was bringing up, he said that that they're going to be, I guess because a lot of people were complaining, she is adding more shows to the 10 dates, and they're going to change up the venue, meaning they're going to provide more seating and stuff in there, even for the people who get the standard ticket, the $200 ticket. And then they're going to go easy on the formal wear, because they said that there's going to be a dress code and all these different things. So there's so many conflicting reports, so many different things going around, so many restrictions. And I think a lot of people are getting upset with how everything is being set up, and people wanting this, and, people wanting to go to this concert. But to me, $2,000 to go see anybody is pushing it. That's a lot. And I love Kylie, but not enough to be paying no damn $2,000 to see her live in no damn Vegas. I understand Vegas is going through it right now in regards of the inflation, and they're struggling trying to make money and stuff out there because of look, everybody's been hurt by this pandemic, but to price gouge, and I'm not saying it's her, it's the people that put this deal together, and it's that a third. She just gonna show up and perform. But these corporations that are just being extremely greedy. That's what's just pissing me off with all this. Victor says, I would never pay that amount of money to be disappointed. Wait, was that a read towards Kylie? Because I'm like, she's a great performer live. I've seen her perform twice, actually. But I don't know if that's this is not a risk I'm gonna take. First of all, I wouldn't even pay that money to see anybody live. Like, I wouldn't even, and you know I live for Madonna, but I wouldn't even pay that money to see her live. Like, I'm sorry, I'm on my grown man shit. Like, I have so many bills and things, and so I got responsibilities. I gotta try to survive here in the street. Living in New York is not cheap, trust and believe. So, how dare you? He read girl, okay? Okay, let me stop. But for the most part, he's like, yeah, I don't care who it is. I would never pay that kind of money. But anyway, the first dates of the residency kicks off on November 3rd, 4th, 10th, and 11th, December 8th and 9th, and January's 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th. Now, I don't know what's going to happen like, how is this, if she's adding more dates or whatever, how does this affect the upcoming tour for her 16th album, Tension? Like, I'm sure she's planning on putting together a tour for that. But what also was a theory that Robert came out with, and I was like, you know what, that might be an interesting concept. Maybe she's doing all this because a lot of times they feel like, if I put this tour together, this little thing together, maybe this shows these companies or whatever, investors, that, you know, I'm worth the investment, that they can actually shell some money and invest in me actually going on a tour. And I feel like Kylie could do a tour. I feel like if you're gonna have her tour the United States, I don't think she would sell out a Madison Square Garden, but I do feel like she could sell out a venue that's just like a big enough size that you can have enough of the gays and all other stuff that'll show up to that performance. And you can give like a downsized, I guess, version of her concert where she's got a nice big enough stage, LED lights, some props, choreography, all the other stuff. Like, Kylie's a showgirl, so she could definitely give you costumes. But do I see that she could put on a show in the magnitude of a Beyonce in the United States? I don't necessarily know, because our American market has not really invested in a Kylie Minogue really taking the time to, you know, promote herself and get her music heard and promoted here. Yes, Padam Padam has been a big hit over here, but I feel like y'all will treat that like you treated The Locomotion and how you treated Can't Get You Out of My Head. Y'all will only pick certain songs and be like, oh yeah, that was cute or whatever, but the follow-up, I don't know if y'all necessarily support it. First of all, I think BMG is dropping the ball, because where is the follow-up single? Like, where her album comes out in a month and we're still on one song? Like, I think it's about time y'all start dropping the second single. Why are y'all waiting so long to drop the second single? Padam Padam has been running to the fucking ground. I'm tired of hearing it, and you know I live for her, but y'all ran that song into the goddamn ground. Now my obsession is Troye Sivan's Rush. I just love that song. This song sounds so butch to me, but then when you have this little twink looking boy singing it, it just defeats the purpose. But the song feels so masculine and butch to me. Like you need some muscular dude should be singing that song. But it works for what it does. But it's got like this masculine vibe to it. I don't know, you know, with the part of I feel the rush, I'm getting in your touch, whatever how the fuck the lyrics go. But I live for the song. Padam Padam is not a song, like, so I barely even listen to the song now because I'm tired of hearing it. And I feel like when the album comes out, I'm probably gonna skip it because it's been played so damn much. And yeah, so I feel like it's time to move on to the next single and all that other stuff. But I just said, come on, twink fetish. Now, one of the things, I don't have a twink fetish, but I do like the song. But yeah, so good luck to you, Miss Minogue, because you're definitely gonna need it if you're trying to push this Tension album. So we got some tea on Billy Porter, and it's a lot because, you know, for one, I was just gonna come in here and talk about this whole thing about him and the whole what he was talking about with what's going on with the strikes and everything. But then yesterday, so many stories came out about him. So he's been talking a lot over in England. So First things first, we'll do this one. So, actor-director Billy Porter is speaking out on how the recent actor and writer strikes are affecting him financially and has some choice words for Disney CEO Bob Iger, who says actors' demands for a living wage is unrealistic. Now, this is from The Independent, by the way. The actor and singer has been active in the entertainment industry since the late 80s, but received mainstream acclaim for his portrayal as ballroom announcer Pray Tell in Pose from 2018 to 2021. Last month, the Screen Actors Guild, America's Federation of Television and Radio Arts, SAG-AFTRA, joined striking film and TV writers in the demand for fairer pay. It is the first time that screen actors, as well as writers, have simultaneously withheld labor in 60 years and has resulted in an effective shutdown of Hollywood. Now, Porter, who's 53, spoke with the Evening Standard in London about protests. Controversially, Disney CEO Bob Iger told American press in July that actors' expectations of treatment are just not realistic. Other reports referred to an unnamed Hollywood exec admitting that the end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. Responding to the corporation boss's remarks, Porter said, "To hear Bob Iger say that our demands of a living wage are unrealistic while he makes $78,000 a day, which is $61,000 in pounds." You know, the Brits did the math. I don't have any words for it, but fuck you. That's not useful, but I've kept my mouth shut. I haven't engaged because I'm so enraged. I'm glad I've been over here, but when I go back, I will join the picket lines. The actors then added that with no end to the strikes in sight, he has been forced to make a drastic change to his living situation and sell his house. The children's singer explained that the Hollywood shutdown means several projects he's been due to work on are stalled or have been canceled. The life of an artist until you make fuck you money, which I haven't made yet, is still check to check. Porter said, "I was supposed to be in a new movie and on a new television show starting in September. None of that is happening. So the person who said we're going to starve them out until they have to sell their apartments, you've already starved me out." Now, last month, Porter announced that he and his husband, Adam Smith, are separating after 14 years together and 6 years married. I also have some tea on Billy Porter's marriage in another article that I'm going to bring up, but I want to address what's going on in here. But first, let me read the comments. So Victor says, "I think Billy mismanaged his money. He has had some incredible gigs post-Pose. He should be handsomely paid. He has directed 3 films in the past 2 years, and he has a new movie out now and was working on Little Shop of Horrors." You're absolutely right. So I do think that, I was thinking that too. So I was like, wait a minute. So you had Pose, but I understand that was FX. I don't know if there's a whole residuals thing that comes with that because it's cable, and then it was on Hulu and all other stuff. So I don't know what the whole thing is, the whole situation is regarding residuals and that sort of thing. And yes, since then he has been directing a lot of projects. He has started a lot of projects and all this other stuff. But it could have been because he's out here spending all his money on Gucci and Versace gowns and this, that, and the other, trying to live his non-binary, gender fluid life in the world of fashion, that he probably was mismanaging his money. And also, he's getting a divorce. So it kind of makes me wonder is that he's going to have to shell a lot of money for that divorce. So I do think that he probably has been mismanaging his money. He didn't think that there was going to be a writer's strike happening and probably thought, you know what? Oh, I'll make that, because, a lot of us, when we don't see money, when we're not used to seeing a certain type of coin coming up in our situation, we're like, you know what? Oh, I'll make that in the next check. I'll make that in the next check. So it'll be fine. But yeah, I do feel like you mismanage your money. But I do feel like, on the other hand, it's wrong that you have execs out here talking about, well, you know what? We're going to start about it because they need us. No, y'all need each other, quiet as it's kept. Without, it takes human beings and bodies to make a movie. AI cannot do everything. AI is not going to get butts in the seats of theaters. So this whole thing of you trying to gaslight and treat your actors and the union workers like shit, where you feel like you don't need them, and then us consumers get screwed where y'all want to hike up prices on every damn thing, like all the streaming services going on. Disney Plus, I think, just raised their price again. I'm about to start canceling some of these damn streaming services because I feel like I'm not going to be sitting up in here paying all this extra money and y'all giving me mediocre ass TV shows and only one damn good movie. The last thing I watched on Disney Plus, it's been a minute since I watched Disney Plus, was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was the only good damn movie to come out of that damn MCU. quiet as it's kept. So I am with Billy on this, and what he said is like, yeah, F you. Because to me, if you sit up in here, you're making damn near 80 grand a day, just being an executive of a network when you're burning so much money with Disney. Y'all creating all these streaming services and y'all want to hoard all the money and all this stuff, but you don't want to shell it out to the artists. I just wish this shit would hurry up and be done and over with, because the shareholders gonna be mad at some point because there's gonna be no money coming in. Everything's gonna flop at the damn box office. People ain't gonna be going to the movies. Y'all gonna run out of movies to put in the movies. Now, moving on from that topic, we have another Billy Porter story because, he did a recent interview and he brought up the whole Harry Styles Vogue cover again. So, Billy Porter got candid about his gripe with Harry Styles' Vogue cover when he appeared in a lace-trimmed Gucci dress. It all started back in 2020 when Billy received backlash for calling out the fact that the former One Direction singer was getting all the praise for pushing gender boundaries in fashion. A year prior, Billy turned heads at the 2019 Academy Awards red carpet in a black tuxedo dress. Billy Porter has also received backlash for implying that he spearheaded gender fluid fashion. Here's what he said. He said, I personally changed the whole game. And that is not ego. That is just fact. I was the first one doing it. Now everybody's doing it. I created the conversation, and yet Vogue still put Harry Styles, a straight white man in a dress, on their cover for the first time. Billy, Billy, as I said, Billy received backlash for implying that he spearheaded the gender fluid fashion. Someone wrote, Billy Porter, thinking he, a cisgender male, created the conversation about non-binary fashion, is BIPOC trans erasure at its finest, someone on social media commented at the time, as reported by the Pink News. Billy claims he wasn't shading Harry. Yes, he was. He just felt at the time that Harry was being used as a mascot to push the conversation of gender fluid fashion. He doesn't care. He's just doing it because it's the thing to do. This is politics for me. This is my life. I had to fight my entire life to get to a place where I could wear a dress to the Oscars and not be gunned down. All he has to do is be white and straight. Porter 53 went on to apologize for shading Harry, but 3 years later, in a recent interview in The Telegraph, he doubled down on his comments towards Harry and called out that bitch Anna Wintour in the process. Those are his words, not mine, by the way, I should say. Billy reveals that months before the cover was released, he actually had a conversation with the Vogue editor during a Q&A with the magazine's staff. He says, that bitch said to me at the end, how can we do better? And I was so taken off guard that I didn't say what I should have said, he revealed. He explained that if he had been taken aback by the question, he would have asked Wintour to uplift the voices of the leaders of the degendering fashion movement. It's not Harry Styles' fault that he happens to be white and cute and straight and fit into the infrastructure that way, Porter explained. That's why he's on the cover. Non-binary blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't feel good to me. You're using my community, or your people are using my community to elevate you. You haven't had to sacrifice anything. In other Billy Porter news, the actor recently opened up about his pending divorce from soon-to-be ex-husband Adam Smith. Now, in an interview with the Evening Standard while visiting London, Porter joked, the whole world knows I'm getting a divorce. Y'all want to talk about my divorce and Ricky Martin at the same time? His escape to London has offered a respite from some of the other ish, and he admitted that the visit was bittersweet because he proposed to Smith there. The Emmy Award winner said that while the relationships are difficult, he will always love his ex-husband, saying, we made it as far as we could, but we learn, we grow, and we live. Porter also joked that London was the perfect place for husband hunting, saying, I'm looking forward to the next adventure. She's back on the market looking for an English husband. And you have to spell it just like that, Huzzzzband. And look, now to give my thoughts on this, isn't this what they pretty much do? They take ideas created within marginalized communities, throw some unseasoned mayo on the cover and call it art? I mean, they've been doing that for years. It's like, yes, I do feel like at the end of the day, why don't we, if you're supposed to be the Bible, like Vogue is supposed to be the Bible of fashion, why don't you put people on the cover who if you're going to talk about gender fluid fashion and you know, people who play around with gender, put people who embody that on the cover and not just like, you know what would be great because it'll sell magazines. Let's get Harry Styles on the cover and put him in a dress, because at the end of the day, the Vogue is looking at it as we're being capitalists and we're trying to sell magazines. So it'll be easier and probably more marketable, because apparently Black people don't sell magazines. This is the mindset a lot of these companies have. We're going to put this white kid on the cover who plays with his gender, and we don't know if he's straight, if he's gay. I mean, Billy claimed, you know, said he was straight, but has Harry ever identified as straight? I mean, we've only seen him date women, and I do feel like he kind of does the whole, he might be one of those that does the whole queer baiting. You know, he has been accused. So maybe he is queer baiting, but does putting on a dress actually mean that you're gay and anything? I don't think that's what that is. I just feel like we're getting into this space where people tend to, let's not try to gatekeep fashion, but I do understand where Billy is coming from when he's talking about, you know, a lot of times when the industry as a whole will put someone on a cover because they want it to sell, but they're not really about that life. They just playing dress up, you know, because it gives them attention, because it gets their name in the papers. So I totally get where he's coming from with that. But I also feel like Billy is no place to try to gatekeep gender fluid fashion. And I do agree with Victor by saying that Grace Jones was the best to play with gender. Absolutely. Like when you saw Grace Jones did it, you know she meant, you know, every aspect of what she was doing. You didn't buy the fact that, okay, this was just some woman playing dress up. Grace was about that life, because in her life she was a model, but she was also a singer and an actor. So, you know, she was embodying all these characters and stuff. That as far as his marriage goes, it's like, I understand you fall out of love with somebody. When you were with them for 14 years and then you were married to them for 7 years, it's like, yeah, you learn, you grow, and you live. So they outgrew each other. And I guess they were just, you know, sailing off in different directions. So I totally get it. And if there's a man out there that want Billy, like she said, she on the market. Okay. All right. Now, speaking of relationships, let's talk about Adam Lambert, child. So, Adam Lambert has no time for these punk-ass trolls who felt the need to give their unsolicited opinion about his boyfriend while recently being spotted out in L.A. Now, the U.S. singer-songwriter and American Idol finalist, 41, hit the town with his partner Oliver Gleese in West Hollywood on Friday, August 4th, for a night out with friends. Gleese, who's 28, who works in the fashion industry, was dressed to kill in a monochrome ensemble of stars and striped denim shorts, a sheer black vest, and silver nail polish. His look was accessorized with silver jewelry and shimmery green eyeshadow. Well, I wonder between the both of them, who wears the who be fighting over the makeup counter? Because, you know, Adam likes his makeup too. And his nail polish. However, some of the social media users left homophobic comments under the photos of the couple, trolling Gleese's outfit and mocking his sexuality and gender identity. Lambert was swift to condemn the comments and posted an Instagram story on the 5th of August, which was Saturday, slamming the ignorance and plaguing people who made bigoted remarks about his partner. He called on homophobic trolls to grow up and challenge yourself to explore tolerance. Ollie and I had a fun night out, the Queen frontman wrote, lips by spirits to see support in the comments, also appalled to see the obnoxious homophobia and ignorance plaguing people right now. Ollie identifies as a he, the U.S. singer-songwriter and actor continued. He has a wicked style and refuses to conform to the societal norms regarding his fashion choices. He is beautiful and brave and daring. He is a leader, not a follower. One of the many things I love about him. We are very happy together, and if the haters don't like it, we don't really give a fuck. Lambert went on, grow up and challenge yourself to explore tolerance. We are all just trying to stay happy and fulfilled with our lives. Chances are, if you're busy trolling us online, you're miserable in your own life and can't deal with your own issues. Exactly. Now, Lambert and Gleese took their relationship public in 2020 and have been going strong ever since. They recently celebrated Gleese's 28th birthday with a bunny-themed bash with stars including Lil Nas X and Kate Beckinsale in attendance. Now, after headlining Pride in London this year, Lambert and iconic British rock band Queen will be taking the Rhapsody tour on the road from October 2023. And look, at the end of the day, Adam, continue to live your best life and pay these miserable ass trolls no mind. I don't understand why people cannot mind the business that Dan pays them. And to me, it's like you mocking his boyfriend. I'm like, are y'all retarded? Because first of all, we know Adam Lambert's gay. He's been out of the closet for what, over a decade? I mean, certain choices or whatever and homophobia played into why a lot of opportunities didn't come his way. And you know, based off of things that have happened in America. But he's been going strong career-wise. He just did an episode of Drag Race Down Under. He was a judge. I think it was the recent episode that just dropped. So if y'all have a chance, definitely check it out. He is one of the guest judges. And so Adam Lambert's been out here doing the damn thing. He recently was on an episode of Watch What Happens Live, the one with Kylie Minogue. They both were guests on that episode. And so Adam's been out here doing it. He released the album of covers. One of his songs, I love his remake of Mighty Real by Sylvester, by the way. If y'all have not heard that song, definitely check it out. So yeah, Adam's been out here doing the damn thing, and he's had a pretty steady and a pretty solid career so far. So I don't understand why it's like, okay, so you see Adam Lambert and you see his boyfriend, and y'all feel like, oh yeah, I just gotta make fun and make little jokes in the center. It's like, okay, we know he's gay. We know that he wears or whatever what he wears, and I just don't see why it's a big deal. So whatever. Hey, look, like the iconic RuPaul said, unless these bitches are paying your bills, pay their ass no mind. Unless they pay your bills, pay these bitches no mind. That's usually what it goes. But I just changed it up. But yeah, unless they paying your bills, pay these hoes no goddamn mind. Okay. So keep living your best life. First of all, I didn't even know Adam Lambert was in a relationship until this story came out. They said they made it official in 2021. That goes to show how close attention I pay to a lot of people's relationships and who they hunching and who they not hunching. Because I don't care. It's like, live your life. Do you. You ain't hurting me. I ain't got to sleep with you. Shit. Okay, so let's get into this big story. So, you know, there's been a lot of drama going on in the world of Drag Race, especially between Pearl. So RuPaul's Drag Race alum Pearl is responding to comments over a photo that depicted her with darker skin. So shout out to EW for this story. Now, she said, the character I posted this morning was not meant to resemble any other background other than my own. She's platinum blonde / blue eyes and meant to have 2000s Brittany as tan, Pearl wrote Thursday on her Instagram story. I certainly didn't mean to hurt anyone and will refrain from using any kind of tan at all when creating a character in the future. I removed the post as to not continue to offend people. Now, here's the thing. When I looked at the picture, well, Victor says Adam and his boyfriend are cute together. Yes, they are. I'm going to be honest. I don't know on what planet Pearl's on, but it ain't this one. Because I was like, when did Britney Spears ever have a tan in anything she's done? I've never seen Britney with a tan or overinflated lips or, you know, besides the blonde hair and the big boobs and stuff. All the exaggerated features, that has never been Britney Spears. Now, there are many women in Hollywood who embody those looks. That is what we call featureism. When y'all go out and you exaggerate your lips, your ass and your breasts, and you get all this damn surgery so you can embody features that you would normally see on a black woman. Plus, on top of that, you darkening your skin. And from what I've heard people say is that the recent photo, she did this drag look before, but the color, the overall paint job that she did on her face was never that, it wasn't that dark of a shade until she did this one. So, in addition to accusations of blackface from social media users in the comment section of other photos on her profile, fellow Drag Race alums The Vixen and Silky Nutmeg Ganache also addressed Pearl's photo. When people carelessly play with blackface and using slurs, etc., I think the public outrage overshadows the private hurt that we go through. These daily reminders that this world isn't safe, welcoming, or sensitive to our feelings is overwhelming, The Vixen, who previously competed on season 9, posted on social media later, adding, white people paint their skin like the shade of people who have to defend their skin shade, and they're surprised they have to defend their choice. Silky responded to reposted Pearl's photo and made reference to the season 7 competitor getting into a heated exchange with the show's host in the workroom. RuPaul should have just talked to her off camera because now she's mocking RuPaul in her younger years. They're trying to say this is what RuPaul looked like in her younger years. So yeah, they should ask, do I have something on my face? Yes, bitch, you got blackface on your face. That's what you got, child. So now, Silky and her Canada Drag Race, Canada versus the World sister Raja O'Hara previously recounted to EW how they dealt with the fellow competitor Rita Baga's blackface controversy prior to joining the global spinoff, saying it's an issue that she had already addressed prior to her getting on to season 1 of Canada's Drag Race. So she addressed it then, but it wasn't an incident that happened 10 plus years ago. Oh, she says, but it was an incident that happened 10 plus years ago, Raja said in November 2022 interview. As a strong, proud Black person, we always want people to recognize and realize the accountability that they need to take for actions that they've made. And I feel like when you apologize and actions come after an apology, and that let you know that it may have been a one-off when they were younger and maybe didn't know better, but now that they know better, they've done better and they've been better in the world. So I feel I was tacky for whoever, or it was tacky for whoever to even bring it up in a situation to make it current, relevant thing, especially during a time we just gotten announced. I feel like it was very strategic on the part of how it came out and why it came out. But that's usually how it is. It's the fact that, you know what, I did something a decade ago, 12, 15 years ago, and they want some kind of me to it in today's society. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I made a mistake. I didn't think, because white people are not conditioned to always think about every decision and everything that they do. They could just coast through life without having to really think about that everything you do has consequences to actions until you become a public figure. Then you realize, I gotta watch what I do because somebody's gonna call me out on some shit. But other than that, white people get to walk around through life and being completely oblivious. Hence why them heifers in you know, the Alabama brawl thought that they could just walk up on some black dude and think that we could beat his ass and nothing was gonna happen. It's like, yeah, y'all fucked around and you found out. And the same thing with Pearl. She fucked around and she got dragged. So maybe, yeah, it wasn't her intent to create blackface and this, that, and the other. But people have to be mindful of, like, when you look at certain things, the history that is behind it with featureism and colorism and those sort of things. So when you do these extra darkening of your skin and this and the other, people are going to look at it that way, that y'all playing around and you're doing blackface. And then I did hear somebody say, but what about Raven? Raven does the same thing. I'm like, well, wait a minute. First of all, Raven is not a part of this conversation. Let's stick to the situation it is. They're going on Pearl. Why do people always have to bring other people into a conversation to justify the argument? Raven ain't got shit to do with this. If there was a problem with Raven in the TNA, and I've heard people drag Raven in the past and still drag on certain things, then y'all need to address her on that. Or why don't you drag RuPaul? RuPaul, that's RuPaul's makeup artist. Raven beats her face every time that she's on that show and the spinoffs and stuff. So that is a conversation that needs to be had at a whole other time. But we're talking about Pearl right now. And then, you know, after she deleted that thing, she posted another post where she was over-explaining. And I'm like, okay, Pearl, come on now. Like, I feel like you're overdoing it. We get it. We know that you realize that you messed up this and that, but now you're still bringing it up. You're still going on and on about it. And now we're looking at you, okay, girl, now you're over-explaining. You're overcompensating. I'm starting to look at you sideways. Like, why are you still talking about it? We got it. You said you fucked up. You learned your lesson. You're not going to do that character anymore. You could do the character. You could do the exaggerated features, but just use a different shade to bring out those features. Don't make the person dark skinned or try to have like this overly tan, like she's tan mom or something. So, we talked about the whole thing with the, people accusing her of being in blackface or blackfishing. And then she did another explanation. So she wrote, "Hello, I'm not trying to drag this out. Clearly you are because you keep bringing it up. But I'd like to address the drag character I posted this morning. It was not my intention to do blackface. I thought the concept of the character would be clear to anyone who saw it, which was ignorant on my part, for which I am sorry. Just to be clear, every aspect of the character was inspired by Caucasian people. There were no black influence going on in my mind during the time of conception. But now I see the people that inspired the character are/have been problematic, and by dressing up and parroting as them, I too am contributing to the issue in its own way, something I hadn't thought of and don't want to contribute to." With that being said, I felt creatively stumped for a while, and it may be due to the fact that some of these characters are kind of tired and just aren't aging well. So I'm going to look at this as an opportunity to grow from the experience and expand myself creatively. If anyone would like me to clear anything else up, I'm happy to respond here. Hopefully this could be a positive and safe space to learn and grow. Many blessings. Well, girl, you've already explained it. People have already jumped on your side. People I know, I've seen in the comments, who pretty much was pro you, and kudos to them. But I do feel like the problem with that is, as I said before, you need to be mindful of the things you say and do. That's it. And like I said, being, if you're white, you don't have to deal with that. But now you realize a public figure, you do. Now, here's where Aquaria comes in the conversation. She said, "No shade, and not meaning to get into things, as I know you don't mean harm, but also you were the color of your coffee, and I've never seen a fake tan pumped girl with such a cool and natural undertone across the body. I think people know you like to explore that character, but I think it's usually a bit easier for others to understand if it's a less realistic shade for someone's natural skin, like something a bit more orange. And I think it's also fair to assume, hopefully, you saw that before posting as well. Not trying to dogpile, but people have come for me for far lighter, and I imagine you didn't mean harm, but we're also both not blind or idiots." So I guess she's calling Aquaria, I'm saying Aquaria full of shit in so many ways. So then Pearl clapped back and said this. She said, "No shade, but you might be the last person who needs to weigh in on this. I couldn't hold a candle to the drama you have gotten yourself into, so to see you here projecting is really awkward and twisted. You are nobody to comment on my cosplay when you have been cosplaying me your whole damn career. To be clear, I do not care what you think about the situation or how I've chosen to handle it. My apology is not at all intended for you, babe, So just keep texting your friends about me. Thanks for your input." Well, clearly you do care because you took time to clap back. And here's the thing. I don't really follow either one of their drag that closely, but does Aquaria copy Pearl's drag aesthetic? Because, if I remember correctly, this little tip feels very season 10 when Aquaria accused Miss Cracker of copying her drag. So now we have a situation where Pearl's accusing Aquaria of copying her drag. So I don't know. I'm just on the fence. Like I said, I don't know if that was the intent. I don't think that was her intent. I don't think Pearl's racist, but I also feel like when it comes down to things, white people in general, y'all need to be mindful of when y'all creating certain characters and where a lot of that, you need to look into the history of featureism and colorism and blackfishing and all this stuff and look at a lot of the features. When you have people with full lips, when you have people with, these overly exaggerated darker skin or whatever the case is, a lot of that historically is taken from exaggerating what black people look like. So, but yeah, the whole thing where she did say cosplay me your whole career, that definitely was a read, but no shade, I've heard better. But it was cute or whatever. I don't know if Aquaria, I think Aquaria did clap back, but I didn't write what she, I didn't write what her response was. Probably because at that point I didn't care. But we're talking about both of these things. It definitely got a lot of hits on my website, chrisavalon.com. Although speaking of which, I just want to let you guys know that I have finally crossed over 900 followers on TikTok. So I'm almost at the 1,000 goal, which means then I can finally go live and stream my show live from TikTok. But now I can do 10-minute videos because before I was only stuck on 3. But now I've seen like it's gone up. I don't know if it's applying to everybody. Let me know if it does, or if it's just specifically because the more followers you gain, the more minutes they give you. So now I think I'll be able to do little videos. I can go back to going on TikTok and doing little green screen videos to kind of lighten the load up on this show a bit. Because I hated like trying to be restricted by the 3 minutes, especially when I'm trying to break down certain topics. Because sometimes I go over like the 3 minute mark with a lot of things. But so yeah, I definitely have a lot of I'm gaining a lot of followers. Seems like every week because I've been cutting up this show and I've been posting a lot of the scenes, well, a lot of the topics on TikTok, and that has been gaining my following. So I'm been putting a lot of work in there over there, and I did go through a whole rant on my Facebook about that. You know what? Because I did see I got 15 new followers in the last month, but I said I feel like even with people that watch the show and I see the numbers and this that, and the other, I said I feel like that I'm putting so much work in and I'm not getting a real big turnabout, and I shouldn't have bitched about that, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, we're in your corner and you keep doing it." So I think what it was is I was just having a moment and I needed that word of encouragement, and thank you all for giving me that. Because I need that little pigment. Oh, speaking of which, before we go, I wanted to bring this up. So, I know we've been talking about Drag Race and this, that, and the third. And I was watching something the other day where there was some kind of, is because we're still talking about Drag Race. Has Drag Race kind of lost its gusto because people feel like the show is kind of like sold out and it's not as compelling as it once was. And especially when it comes to like All Stars, I've been seeing a lot of people doing like their little videos on All Stars and talking about the overall complaints, excuse me, that they've been having with All Stars and everything going on around that. And I was thinking, like, you know what? Maybe what needs to happen is they need to come. Maybe in the future of All Stars, they need to do themes. So I think like maybe an all villain season. And there have been many of Drag Race villains on the show, so you can get I don't know if Fifi want to come back. But you can get her, Mistress Isabel Brooks. You can get a whole bunch of them to kind of come on and do the villain season. Um, Diabetes, get all of them on there. Then you have mothers and daughters. You can have Kerry Colby versus Sasha Colby, and all from all the mothers of this house and this daughter. So I think they could do themes with that. And then you do one with an all trans season, or you do an all pork chop season, which would be the first girls to go. So you get pork chop, Irene Dubois, all the girls who have been eliminated first, and you have all of them kind of come on and do an episode, a season. So I think like what Drag Race needs to do is they need to go into doing maybe themes that'll keep the the show exciting. But I did come across this article where Pride was fan casting an all finalist season of RuPaul's Drag Race, and they had finalists. The people they had as finalists: Nina Flowers from season 1, Manila Luzon from season 3, and Roxy Andrews from season 5. Well, sidebar, Roxy Andrews was on All Stars 9, but you ain't hear that from me. Adore Delano season 6, well, she just came out as trans, and she did say she kind of has been on the fence whether or not she's going to come back to do All Stars, whatever. But fingers crossed that she does. I feel like she would be in the perfect place now where she might want to come back. Kimchi from season 8, and Peppermint from season 9. They had Asia O'Hara from season 10, Gigi Good from season 12, Got Mick from season 13, Lady Camden from season 14. And I think that's basically it. But I was like, yeah, I think they need to zhuzh up the show. So that's all I wanted to say on that. But we're at the end of the show. So thank you all for tuning in. And tune in next week for a brand new episode of Chris Hamlin Unfiltered. So, and thank you all for those of you who have been tuning in and chiming in into the live chat and leaving your comments and interacting with me in the show, because this is why I created the show, so that we can have everybody come in and interact and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So, see you all here next week, possibly same time, but we be on color people time because I'm only ready when production's ready. So, until next time, ciao, darlings. wash. Annoyed. Oh, hey bitch. Oh, I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.